Chapter 626. Friends Reunite. Demon Cultivator Attacks. 2-in-1, additional chapter for 3,000 votes in July. _5 Ling Zixiao watched the scene unfold, her beautiful pupils slightly constricted. Her gaze turned toward Yu Ninghu, shrouded in a black cloak, trying to discern who the person was. The weak points of the Great Formation are a secret power of every family, absolutely not to be leaked to outsiders, she thought. Apart from the Yu family, no one else could possibly be so familiar with the weak points of Bai Lake Mountain's Great Formation. And within the Yu family, only some core high-ranking members would know this secret. Could it really be Ninghu? But Ninghu has sworn a heart demon oath and signed a second-rank spiritual contract. Should he dare such an act, he would be invaded by the heart demon and suffer the backlash of the spiritual contract. His cultivation severely damaged, plummeting back to qi refinement. Ling Zixiao pondered in her heart, speculating whether this person could be Ninghu. Considering Ninghu's earlier heart demon oath and the second-rank high-quality spiritual contract he had signed, if the other party dared to break the agreement, the backlash from the spiritual contract would surely bring disaster. In the cultivation world, there are many methods, and neither heart demon oaths nor spiritual contracts are unsolvable. But the Yu family is merely a foundation establishment family. They absolutely do not have a way to circumvent a heart demon oath and a second-rank spiritual contract without paying a price. No, this can't go on like this, she muttered to herself. As time went by and the surging of mana inside her became increasingly burdensome, Ling Zixiao knew she could not continue this stalemate with the opponent. Otherwise, in the end, she was the one who would be at a disadvantage. Turn! Channeling her mana, she flicked her wrist over the array plate, instantly reinforcing the Great Formation, including the weak point where Ninghu was located. Afterward, from her pale lips devoid of color, she gently exhaled. Rise! Huff huff huff. Dash in an instant, the azure say-like Great Formation churned, with symbols akin to swimming fish converging to form little golden and blue spheres, shooting towards Ninghu. These golden and blue spheres looked unimpressive, but each was the equivalent of a full-force strike from an early-stage foundation establishment cultivator. Boom boom boom. Dash, however, the moment Ninghu saw the surging spiritual power of the Great Formation, he immediately transformed into a streak of light and fled. As the former master of Bai Lake Mountain, he not only knew where the weak points of the Great Formation were, but he was also very clear about the power of the Great Formation's attack. Knowing he was merely at the initial stage of foundation establishment, he absolutely could not withstand the strikes of the Great Formation. It seems they not only know my lord is not on Bai Lake Mountain but also that I am injured. Ling Zixiao took a deep breath as she watched Ninghu's actions. She knew that the opponent had truly come prepared. They not only brought means to break the formation but also had a thorough understanding of her family's current situation. Otherwise, it wouldn't just be two people coming to break the formation, and they were clearly aiming to fight a war of attrition with her. The only option is to rely on a talisman to catch one off guard, she thought to herself, having made up her mind. She planned to catch the opponent off guard with a third-rank talisman. She refused to believe that the enemy also knew she had a third-rank talisman at her disposal. Even she was extremely surprised when Lu Chongqing gave her the third-rank talisman. She wondered where her lord had obtained such a talisman. Array, activate. Ling Zixiao manipulated the array plate, directly transitioning from defense to offense, allowing the Great Formation's mists to continue surging and tumbling. Countless prohibition runes converged, turning into numerous small golden-blue orbs, launching precise strikes at Yu Ninghu and the man in the black robe. Swoosh! Yu Ninghu, who had been attacking the Great Formation from a distance using spells, immediately fled even farther upon witnessing this scene. Yet, the man in the black robe faced this onslaught undaunted, conjuring a bronze bell. Hum! The bronze bell resounded with a boom, bursting forth with an ancient bronze light shield that enveloped the man in black, directly withstanding the Bai Lake Mountain Great Formation's assault. Boom, boom, boom. The golden blue orb struck the bronze bell, causing a series of intense roaring explosions. Foundation Establishment Late Stage. Ling Zixiao, upon observing the man in black robe's actions and seeing his spiritual artifact, the bronze bell, immediately knew that the opponent possessed the cultivation level of the Foundation Establishment Late Stage. Otherwise, it would be absolutely impossible to withstand so many strikes from the Great Formation so easily. Since you wish to break through the formation, I'll let you break it. Ling Zixiao's pale and elegant face took on a chilling hue. She sat cross-legged, her hands forming seals, while the array plate before her buzzed and vibrated. One could see, on by Lake Mountain, the by Lake Mountain Great Formation suddenly generated a multitude of ripples, with runes meandering across it, condensing into a dread-inducing 5-colored long spear. At that moment, Ling Zixiao completely opened up the Great Formation's defenses, allowing the two attackers to strike and create fissures. Getting desperate, are we? Do you really believe you can annihilate us both? Utterly delusional. The man in the black robe saw this and his gloomy eyes flashed with a crimson gleam as he formed hand seals. Rumble, rumble. Suddenly, the prohibition-breaking pearl in front of him erupted with light to its utmost limit, like a flood dragon roaring as it collided with the Great Formation. Break for me. At that moment, the man in black produced a second-rank prohibition-breaking talisman in his hand. Rumble. In an instant, a massive crack appeared in the Great Formation. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The man in the black robe, catching sight of this crack, immediately turned into a black mist, tearing through the air like a tempest and rushing into the formation. Kill! Ling Zixiao, dressed in a blue robe, sat cross-legged with a clear and cold face, her beautiful Choshui eyes gleaming brightly in the night. Whoosh! In that moment, the 5-colored long spear, formed by the countless prohibition runes on the Great Formation, suddenly launched toward the man in the black robe. Hum! The bronze bell above the head of the man in the black robe boomed, soaring into the sky, bursting with a light shield to block the 5-colored long spear. Rumble! But against the full power of the Great Formation, comparable to a full-strength strike from the peak of Foundation establishment, the bronze bell let out a mournful cry as its light shield shattered and the artifact itself revealed a crack. You think you can slay me, as if I wouldn't have made any preparations. Chapter 627. Friends Reunite. Demon Cultivator Attacks. 2-in-1, additional chapter for 3,000 votes in July. Under 6, the man in the black robe watched as the 5-colored long spear charged toward him, sneered, and mana surged within his body, allowing the bronze bell to continue emitting light to block the long spear, while he slapped his storage bag. Bang! A black coffin appeared. Out came a zombie, its entire body dark as night, muscles bulging, eyes blood-red, and an overwhelming sense of gloom rolling off of it. Roar! The zombie let out a roar like a wild beast and charged directly towards Ling Zixiao. A second-rank dark zombie, this is bad. Ling Zixiao's complexion involuntarily changed. Her original intention was to suppress the man in the black robe with the Great Formation, then use a third-rank talisman to obliterate him. But now, the enemy was directly confronting the Great Formation's onslaught, sending a second-rank zombie after her. This is a dark zombie. No good. This person is Xiao Money. How could this be? Why would Xiao Money set his sights on by Lake Mountain? On by Yun Peak, everyone on Lake Heart Island saw this scene and immediately guessed the identity of the man in the black robe, their faces filled with shock and panic. The fact that Xiao clan at Blackwater Pool had been secret nurturers and refiners of zombies for the Heavenly Corpse sect from Gene Kingdom was widely known. Over the past 2 years, Xiao Money had been causing chaos throughout Qingyun region, slaughtering several smaller families. The appearance of a second-rank dark zombie at the hands of the man in the black robe in this manner virtually confirmed his identity as Xiao Money. Husband said that in the face of danger, the golden armor bean mother can transform into a puppet. Lu Miaoyun thought of what Lu Chongxing had told her before when she saw this unfold. However, she had planted the golden armor bean mother at Lingcue Cliff. Looking at the current situation, she gritted her teeth and immediately controlled her flying sword to fly toward Lingcue Cliff. It's indeed Xiao Money. Outside the Great Formation, Ning Hu, who was attacking the formation's weak points, saw the man in the black robe bring out the coffin and release the dark zombie. His dark complexion sank slightly. He had previously suspected that this man in the black robe was Xiao Money. Now that he saw the dark zombie, he felt almost certain of it. Since he has already fallen into the demon path, what difference is there between Xiao Money and the others from the demon path? Ning Hu's eyes darkened as he didn't give it too much thought and focused all his energy on bombarding the weakest point of the formation before him. Since the Great Formation had already given up on defense, all he needed to do was breach it and join forces with the man in the black robe. They would surely capture Ling Zixiao. Sister Ling. Atop by Yun Peak, Lu Miaohuan saw the dark zombie charging at Ling Zixiao and quickly retrieved a 2-meter-tall, ink-black metal puppet from her storage bag, wielding a saber in one hand, a shield in the other, and carrying 5 dark black spears on its back. Go! Lu Miaohuan, using the puppet control technique taught by Lu Chongqing, controlled the second-rank puppet with her mental spirit to intercept the dark zombie. Whoosh whoosh whoosh! The moment the second-rank puppet moved to engage the dark zombie, the 5 spears on its back shot out like thunder and lightning, simultaneously striking at the zombie with fierce dominance. Lu Miaohuan didn't have much combat experience, and her knowledge of the puppet was limited to what Lu Chongqing had introduced and her subsequent curious fiddling. So faced with the dark zombie, she struck with all her might. Clang clang clang. Each of these spears, carrying the weight of a foundation establishment strike, pounded on the zombie's body, immediately causing a sound like the clashing of gold and iron. How can this be? Lu Miaohuan saw the second-rank puppet's all-out strike merely leave a series of gashes on the undead creature, failing to penetrate it. Roar! Facing this onslaught, the undead creature instantly flew into a rage, letting out a furious roar as dark energy billowed around its body, charging towards the second-rank puppet. Suddenly, the second-rank undead creature and the second-rank puppet began to fight. But it was clear to see that the second-rank puppet was no match for the undead creature. Each fierce strike from the undead creature left the second-rank puppet with a dent. Second-rank puppet, now is the time. Ling Zixiao, watching this scene, immediately activated the Great Formation to its fullest to suppress the man in the black robe. Subsequently, a purple talisman appeared in her hand and flew out towards the man in the black robe, intending to blast him to death with the talisman. Not good. Seeing this, the man in the black robe immediately guessed that Ling Zixiao must have some sort of contingency in place. He promptly formed hand signs, mana surging around him, and sacrificed a black bowl. At the same time, boom! Yuning, who broke through the Great Formation, transforming into a streak of light that rushed in, wielding a curved saber and striking at Ling Zixiao. Damn it! Seeing Yuning who suddenly attack, Ling Zixiao's expression darkened slightly. She quickly manipulated the array plate, causing the formation to operate and exert a suppressing force on Yuning, who as another talisman appeared in her hand. Second-rank Supreme Talisman. Thunderfire Truth Talisman. In her current state, she could at most use 1/3 rank talisman. Moreover, she could tell that Yuning Hu's strength was at the initial stage of foundation establishment. Such strength did not warrant the use of a 3rd rank talisman. Boom boom boom! The talisman in Ling Zixiao's hand soared into the sky, turning into endless thunder and earth fire, sweeping towards Yuning, who with an awe-inspiring might. Not good. Yuning Hu's body suddenly felt heavy as he saw the talisman's assault, his ashen face turning drastically pale. He hastily sacrificed several talismans, creating multiple barriers in an attempt to escape. But at this moment, the invisible force of the Great Formation suppressed him like a mountain, his legs sinking into a swamp, unable to move. Boom boom boom! Yuning, who was suddenly engulfed by the endless thunderfire. Pooh! Ling Zixiao spat out a mouthful of fresh blood, her already pale face turning as white as paper at that moment. Operating the formation for such a long time had already placed a severe strain on her. Now, forcing the formation to its limit to suppress Yuning, who in activating the second-rank spirit talisman, had caused her already fragile meridians and dantian to suffer damage. A splendid opportunity! Seeing Ling Zixiao spitting out blood, the man in the black robe immediately showed elation. Chapter 628. Friends Reunite. Demon Cultivator Attacks. 2-in-1, additional chapter for 3,000 votes in July. Under 7. As for the situation at Yuninghu Lake, he paid it no attention. After all, Yuninghu was merely a puppet he had turned into a corpse puppet. Even though it was a waste of a corpse seed, compared to the current Ling Zixiao and the opportunity of Lu Chongqing, there was no comparison. Kill them all! The man in the black robe, while resisting the 5-colored long spear, slapped his storage bag and 3 coffins appeared, out of which 3 zombies emerged. However, these 3 zombies were not as powerful as the previous one, they were merely first-grade zombies. Boom boom boom! Meanwhile, the second-rank puppet controlled by Lu Miaohuan was battered into near deformation by the shadow corpse and sent flying backward. Roar! The shadow corpse let out a furious roar and continued to charge towards Ling Zixiao. No, if I use another second-rank talisman, I won't be able to use a 3rd-rank talisman at all. Ling Zixiao thought as she faced the charging second-rank shadow corpse, her hand clutching a divine thunder talisman and her face grave. However, just then, swoosh! From atop Ling Tsue Peak, a streak of golden light shot towards this place. Bang! The golden light impacted the second-rank shadow corpse, sending it flying. A towering figure appeared, draped in golden armor, majestic and overwhelming, with a presence that could rival the bulls in combat. What is this? Ling Zixiao was taken aback upon seeing this scene. How could there be so many contingencies at home? Had she known about the second-rank puppet at home, and this unknown golden-armored person, she wouldn't have had to plan this way. What is this? The man in the black robe was also startled by this turn of events. His shadow corpse, which he had raised to the middle stage of second rank, was just sent flying by this golden-armored person. This Lu Changsheng's family must have plenty of contingencies. The opportunity he has secured is definitely not simple. It's a great opportunity. Moreover, this Ling Zixiao, she definitely still has talismans in her hand. There is no need for me to clash head-on. Better to return and report this to the elder. The man in the black robe watched the scene, thinking that Ling Zixiao had rushed towards him, certainly intending to use a supreme second-rank talisman against him. The situation at hand left him unsure of how many contingencies the other party still held. Right then, the man in the black robe decided to give up and used a restriction-breaking bead to blast at the Great Formation, preparing to leave. Thinking of leaving? Ling Zixiao, seeing this, would obviously not let the other party escape. Given her current condition, what if the other party decided to turn back and launch a surprise attack after escaping? Suppress. Ling Zixiao maneuvered the array plate, sealing the Great Formation to prevent the other party from escaping, pouring a continuous stream of liquid mana into the third-rank talisman in her hand. Hum. The purple talisman flew high into the sky, emitting a powerful humming sound and spiritual pressure. It then transformed into a heaven-piercing, earth-shattering 9 heavens divine thunder. A third-rank, lower-grade talisman. Divine Thunder Talisman. This talisman's power was comparable to a strike from a nascent soul immortal. Boom! The purple thunder light unfurled, an endless sea of lightning illuminating the entire night sky as bright as day. This moment, by Lake Mountain became a world of thunder and lightning. The violent brilliance of the thunderstorm shimmered, turning into a sea of thunder, engulfing the man in the black robe. Subsequently, a proliferation of thunderstorms enveloped the area, making every inch of space full of terrifying brilliance. Boom, boom, boom. Even the might of the thunderlight was unyielding, blowing open a corner of the By Lake Mountain Great Formation where the man in the black robe was located. The entire land turned scorched black under the purple thunder, littered with pits and entrenched with the breath of thunder that destroys everything. This. What terrifying might! Could this be the legendary third-rank talisman? Everyone at Baiyun Peak and Lake Heart Island, witnessing the daytime bright, heaven and earth-destroying thunder, were too shocked to speak. Spit! Ling Zixiao spat out another mouthful of blood when she saw this, collapsing weakly. At this moment, her mana was nearly depleted, and her meridians and dantian throbbed with pain. The mana required for the third-rank talisman far exceeded her expectation, almost completely draining the mana from her body. Sister Ling! Lu Miaohuan, upon seeing this, swiftly maneuvered her flying sword, rushing out from Baiyun Peak to catch Ling Zixiao. She took out a bottle of elixir medicines from her storage bag, fed them to Ling Zixiao, and also used a healing talisman on her. Roar! The second-rank shadow corpse, witnessing this, roared furiously. Bang! The golden armor warrior once again unleashed a thunderous punch, sending the second-rank shadow corpse flying. The rest I leave to you, Ling Zixiao said with an exceptionally weak voice. Don't worry, Sister Zixiao, Lu Miaohuan replied with clenched teeth. Immediately, she took out several talismans and attacked the 3 first-grade shadow corpses. In their hands, all of these people held several talismans given to them by Lu Chongqing. At that moment, Lu Miaoyun also arrived from Lingcue Cliff, took out several talismans, and bombarded the 3 first-grade shadow corpses. Soon after, the battle ended. The 3 first-grade shadow corpses were annihilated by the 2 women, and the second-rank shadow corpse was suppressed by the golden armor warrior. Zhenjin, Jiyue, Linger, Shenji, Yuner, Xiaoru, keep an eye on the surroundings, Lu Miaohuan said, taking a deep breath and addressing the other girls and children in her family. Now that Ling Zixiao was nearly unconscious, they all needed to stabilize the situation. Immediately, Lu Miaoyun commanded the golden armor warrior to guard the breach in the Great Formation. The few other women and several children took talismans from the hands of Lu Miaoyun and Lu Miaohuan and took on a battle-ready stance. Time ticked away slowly. This night was one of sleepless vigil for by Lake Mountain. It's uncertain how much time had passed when, as the sky began to brighten with the light of dawn, a figure adorned in snow-white garments with a beautiful and serene face alighted outside by Lake Mountain. Sister Miaoga. Sister. Auntie. Seeing this figure, the people at Bai Lake Mountain immediately showed a look of joy. Meanwhile, Ling Zixiao in Lu Miaohuan's arms completely lost consciousness at this moment. He felt that if it weren't for Lu Miaohuan's treatment, Ling Zixiao might have been in mortal danger. This added a few more heavy layers to Lu Changsheng's heart, as well as his killing intent towards Xiaoho Money. Sister Miaoga, go get some rest. Keep an eye on the outside. Leave this place to me, said Lu Changsheng deeply inhaling, then addressing Lu Miaoga as he prepared to apply the yin-yang nirvana technique and life transference technique to treat Ling Zixiao. All right, Lu Miaoga replied softly, knowing that Lu Changsheng was going to heal Ling Zixiao. Huff. Lu Changsheng looked at Ling Zixiao's pale, bloodless face and exhaled a deep breath. He felt that this incident was indeed due to his own lack of thorough consideration. Although he had given Ling Zixiao and others like Lu Miaoyun and Lu Miaohuan some means of protection, those measures were only effective against common dangers and your average foundation establishment cultivators. He had not considered thoroughly enough, such as the potential consequences of his killing the 3 foundation establishment cultivators and the glory from taking by Lake Mountain, which could attract attention from ill-intentioned people like Xiaoho Money. Since my breakthrough to foundation establishment, I've gained more and more abilities, gradually losing that initial cautious attitude, he reflected to himself. Now it's not just me, but an entire family that I must consider in all matters, Lu Changxing quietly mused. Just like this trip to the Qingyun sect, I thought that the matter with Meng Yibai was over and didn't take it to heart. But had it not been for my teacher Shi Yu, there could have been a lot of trouble, he continued his self-reflection. Lu Changxing became aware that he had lost the vigilant mindset he used to have when first starting out. Before, his wives, concubines, and children were all on Qingzhou Mountain, with the Lu family there to help look out for them. But now, having left Qingzhou Mountain for Bai Lake Mountain, he had to consider everything more carefully. Without further thought, he began to undo Ling Zixiao's clothing and stripped down. Looking at the curvaceous jade-like body in front of him, Lu Changxing only felt sympathy, with no trace of desire. He undressed himself and gently embraced Ling Zixiao, initiating the yin-yang nirvana technique as he entered her like a flood dragon diving into the sea, using his yang essence to heal her and nourish her meridians and dantian. A few days later. Under Lu Changsheng's treatment, Ling Zixiao's eyelashes trembled, and a soft moan escaped her lips. Zixiao, you're awake! Exclaimed Lu Changsheng, his face lighting up with joy as he turned towards Ling Zixiao. My lord! Ling Zixiao gently opened her beautiful eyes, looked at Lu Changsheng, and managed to summon a weak smile on her pale face. Zixiao, don't talk yet, stabilize your breath, said Lu Changxing gently, speaking softly. He increased the effect of the life transference technique to stabilize Ling Zixiao's current state. The faint blush on Ling Zixiao's pallid face turned a delicate red as she hummed softly, weak and docile. Time passed gradually. It was hard to tell how much time went by, but eventually, Ling Zixiao's complexion was no longer deathly pale. Zixiao, you've put in a hard effort this time, said Lu Changxing, holding the tender and fragrant body in his arms, his face showing remorse. If Ling Zixiao hadn't acted bravely, the consequences would have been unthinkable. My lord. Ling Zixiao showed a gentle smile, snuggling into Lu Changsheng's embrace. She could feel the concern and guilt in his eyes. In a weak voice she said, My lord, you need not blame yourself. This matter is not your fault. In her view, Lu Changxing did indeed have some responsibility. The distribution of the treasures prepared by the family was too scattered. He wasn't aware of them, and thus he couldn't make the best arrangements. Nevertheless, Xiaoho Money clearly came well prepared, and such circumstances were genuinely difficult to anticipate. Chapter 630, Xiaoho Wuwa, Hell surely go without return. If I had been more cautious, this wouldn't have happened, Lu Changxing sighed lightly. My lord, Xiaoho Money evidently came prepared, Ling Zixiao said softly, gripping Lu Changsheng's hand. It implied they had intimate knowledge of Lu Changsheng's movements, his physical condition, and the weak points of the Bai Lake Mountain Great Formation. There was clearly a problem. It seems this matter is inextricably linked to the Yu family. Lu Changsheng's face tensed as he spoke coldly. Though he had concerns about saving face and had spared the Yu family so far, should they truly be involved in such matters, he would no longer consider any face-saving measures. I also suspect the Yu family's involvement. But Yu Ninggu is a smart man. The entire Yu family relies on his support. He wouldn't rashly risk danger and cooperate with the demonic path. Moreover, he's bound by the Heart Demon's oath and a second-rank spiritual contract. There's also the possibility that he was coerced by Xiahou money, Ling Zixiao murmured. In her view, Yu Ninggu was unlikely to resort to such actions. But under the coercion of Xiahou money, it was not so certain. After all, their own family's formation had been breached by Xiahou money. The formation on Shaojing Mountain was merely first grade. If Xiahou money wanted to move against Yu Ninggu, it would be effortless. And for Xiahou money to act against their family, using the Yu family and Yu Ninggu to learn about their situation was all too normal. I will send a message to the Ji family later to check on the situation in Shaojing Mountain, Lu Chongqing nodded and said. He had taken Shaojing Mountain as a vassal to keep an eye on the Yu family. If the Yu family is indeed related to this matter, my lord could leave it to Qingyun's sect to handle, Ling Zixiao whispered. Very well, Lu Chongqing nodded upon hearing this. He knew that if the collusion between the Yu family and Xiahou money was confirmed, Qingyun's sect would deal with the Yu family, and he wouldn't need to intervene. My lord, we also need to report the matter of Xiahou money to Qingyun's sect. Moreover, as far as I know, among the members of Xiahou money, the old ancestor Xiahou Wuwa has been missing, without a trace. Now that they have lost a foundation establishment late-stage cultivator in our family, they might seek revenge, Ling Zixiao continued. Xiahou Wuwa, Lu Changsheng's eyes narrowed slightly upon hearing the name. He said coldly, if he dares to come, I want to see how he plans to seek revenge. Armed with the 99 mysterious true strategy and more than 10 third-rank talismans, if the enemy dared to come, he could ensure they would not return. As a demonic path cultivator, this person has evaded the Qingyun sect's pursuit for so long. He certainly has many tricks up his sleeve. You should still be careful, my lord. Even if you are not afraid, we have many children at home to consider in the face of such a threat, Ling Zixiao advised, seeing Lu Changsheng's confidence and knowing he was unafraid of false core individuals. In the cultivation world, anyone who could break through the false core was not ordinary. Especially someone like Xiahou Wuwa. Not only was he a false core immortal, but he had also taken many treasures of the Xiahou family during the battle at Blackwater Pool and surely had many methods at his disposal. At this stage, I intend for the children to stay home and focus on their cultivation until the clamor subsides. There's no need for them to go out. As for the external family businesses, just hand them over to others to manage, or engage in profit-sharing cooperation with other family powers, Lu Chongqing said decisively. With the family currently in the spotlight, there was always the possibility that people would target his children. That also works, Ling Zixiao nodded gently upon hearing this. She knew that Lu Chongqing was unlike other families. He didn't need to rely on numerous family businesses to make money. The current output of Bai Lake Mountain was sufficient to sustain all members of the Lu family. After chatting a bit more with Ling Zixiao, Lu Chongqing suggested she rest well. Sigh. Exiting Chongqing Hall, Lu Chongqing looked at the vast expanse of Bai Shui Lake, took a deep breath, and exhaled slowly. I need to plant the Mount Sumeru Tree King as soon as possible, he thought to himself. He had planned to deploy the Mount Sumeru Tree King after all arrangements for the family were in place. After all, with a third-rank Demon King stationed at the family, their safety was assured. However, if the third-rank Demon King's presence were revealed, it could also attract significant trouble and danger. So, his idea was to ensure thorough preparation. Sister Miaoga, Lu Chongqing called out as he arrived at the mountain gate, addressing Lu Miaoga. This point of the formation had been weakened since the man in the black robe used a banishment pearl and a powerful third-rank talisman, effectively shattering it, causing the array flags buried there to malfunction. An array master was needed for repairs. Otherwise, a notable vulnerability would persist here in the Great Formation, making it easily breachable. Chongqing, how is Sister Ling feeling? Lu Miaoga approached with a gentle smile, her voice soft. She has awakened, there's no serious harm, but her body can only recover slowly through care, Lu Chongqing sighed. Ling Zixio's health had marginally improved, but because of this incident, her condition had worsened. After conversing with Lu Miaoge for a while, Lu Chongxing went to inspect the items left behind by Xiahou Money. Under the effect of Ling Zixio's talisman, both individuals were reduced to ashes. Only a second-rank Yin corpse, a few treasures, and storage bags remained. Lu Chongxing noticed the 2 storage bags with narrowed eyes. One bag contained many items, including rare materials and several demonic path magical instruments. The other was quite empty. Aside from a few elixir medicines, some talismans, and one spiritual artifact, there was nothing else. Lu Chongxing inquired with Lu Miaoyun about whom the storage bags belonged to. Yu family, Foundation Establishment Early Stage. Chapter 631. Xiahou Wuwa, Hell Surely Go Without Return. This storage bag obviously has a touch of afterlife arrangements. Could it be that this person is really Yu Ninghu? Lu Chongxing looked at the storage bag in his hand and pondered lightly. Immediately, he took out a transmission talisman and sent a message to the Ji family, inquiring about the Yu family and the situation with Yu Ninghu. Afterward, he wrote a letter to Rui Prefecture, asking Hong Yi to check how many people from his family needed to come to Bai Lake Mountain, so he could arrange for someone to pick them up when the time came. Thinking of Ling Zixio's current situation, Lu Chongxing wrote a letter to Xiao Xia. He asked Xiao Xia if it was possible to request an array master from Qingyun's sect to come over and set up a great formation for Bai Lake Mountain. Originally, he had planned to have Ling Zixiao do this. After all, a great formation set up by his own family would be reliable. But given Ling Zixio's current condition, setting up formations would be extremely taxing and harmful to his health. It would be better to first invite an array master from Qingyun's sect to repair the formations. Once Ling Zixio's health was a bit better, they could reset the formations. After finishing the letters, he also wrote to Qingyun's sect regarding the encounter with the demon path forces. Once these matters were handled, Lu Chongxing began to take care of the situation at home. The next day, people from the Ji family of Shaojing Mountain arrived. They informed Lu Chongxing that everything was normal during this period on Shaojing Mountain, and nothing had happened. Yu Ninghu was still on Shaojing Mountain, although he rarely showed himself. As for the other Yu family cultivators, because there were many of them, it was impossible for the Ji family to tally and see everyone. Everything is normal. Yu Ninghu is still on Shaojing Mountain? Upon hearing this, Lu Changsheng's eyes narrowed slightly. He immediately slapped the storage bag, and a second-rank truth talisman appeared to test the truth of the conversation. Through this talisman, Lu Chongxing confirmed that the other party was not lying. This made his brow furrow. Based on previous conjectures, he believed that the person who was with Xiahou Money could very likely be Yu Ninghu. But now the Ji family told him that Yu Ninghu was still on Shaojing Mountain. No, this Yu Ninghu doesn't necessarily have to be Yu Ninghu. Lu Chongxing paused mentally, developing a guess. In the cultivation world, disguises and impersonations are quite common. If the Yu family used a disguise, the Ji family might not be able to detect it. Sister Miaoge, keep an eye on things at home. I'm going to take a trip to Shaojing Mountain. If anything happens, transmit a message to me immediately. Lu Chongxing immediately said to Lu Miaoge. From Bai Lake Mountain to Shaojing Mountain was merely 100 miles. He could get there in quarter an hour if he rushed at full speed. But because of anxiety, even with the protection of the family's great formation, he still handed Lu Miaoge 10 second-rank supreme talismans and 3 third-rank talismans. He also told her to use the golden armor bean mother to transmit messages to him if necessary. Chongxing, be very careful yourself, Lu Miaoge said softly. MHM. Lu Chongxing nodded. He took out a purple flying shuttle and turned into a beam of light, piercing through the air and shooting out rapidly. A quarter of an hour later, Lu Chongxing arrived outside a valley built along a river. Greetings to Lu Ancestor. Greetings to Lu Ancestor. The disciples guarding Shaojing Mountain from the Ji family saw Lu Chongxing and immediately paid their respects with reverent voices. Bring someone who can talk. Lu Chongxing called out. Ancestor, please wait a moment. A Ji family disciple immediately responded and took out a transmission talisman. Shortly after, the patriarch of the Ji family arrived and greeted with respect. Greetings to Lu Ancestor. May I know the purpose of your visit? Take me to see the Yu family. Lu Chongqing said directly. Yes, Lu ancestor, please follow me. The patriarch of the Ji family promptly led Lu Chongqing to another valley. Such a blessed land could accommodate hundreds or even thousands of people. But the main problem was the insufficient spiritual energy, which could not support so many people's cultivation. Can Yu Ninghu come out for a moment? Arriving at the Yu family's residence, Lu Chongqing spoke up. At the same time, he extended his divine sense, searching for the aura of Yu Ninghu's foundation establishment stage cultivation. Lu Chongqing, we made an agreement between our families that as long as we are on Shaojing Mountain, we would not interfere with each other. By coming here today, are you intending to break the agreement? A Yu family elder looked at Lu Chongqing with a displeased face and spoke coldly. Smack! Lu Changsheng's hand flashed, and a slap formed from concentrated mana sent the other party flying. We signed a spiritual contract, agreeing to mutual non-aggression. But that does not mean you can bark wildly in my presence. Lu Changsheng's expression was indifferent as he spoke coldly. He then magnified his voice with mana, calling out coldly, Yu Ninghu, come out! Lu Chongqing, what do you want with me? After a pause, Yu Ninghu walked out of the manor and looked towards Lu Chongqing to speak. You dare to present such petty tricks before me, truly acting as if I'm unworthy of your regard. With his foundation establishment late-stage divine sense, Lu Chongqing could see at a glance that this Yu Ninghu was an impostor. At this moment, he was almost certain that his conjecture was correct. Of the two Xiahou devils from before, one was indeed Yu Ninghu. In the midst of speaking, a binding body talisman appeared in his hand, and he immediately shackled the fake Yu Ninghu standing before him. Then with a large man-infused hand, he captured the opponent. Peeling off a thin veil from the person's face, along with a crystal pendant, suddenly, the Yu Ninghu in front of them turned into a middle-aged man around 40, with a slightly rugged face. Your Yu family has indeed colluded with the demon path, and now with both human and physical evidence present, what else can you say? Lu Chongqing said with a cold voice. As he spoke, he turned to the patriarch of the Ji family and said, You Ji family, take all the people from the Yu family down now. Yes, Ancestor Lu. The patriarch of the Ji family, upon hearing this, didn't dare to disobey and immediately notified the family's members to come. Lu Chongqing, you slander with baseless accusations. Ancestor Lu, there might be some misunderstanding here. Ancestor Ninghu. The members of the Yu family, seeing this, were enraged, astonished, and unbelieving. I have already reported this matter to Qingyun's sect, and whether it's right or wrong, the supreme sect will decide. Lu Changsheng's expression remained tranquil and detached as he spoke coldly. If it wasn't for the spiritual contract, and if the matter had to wait for Qingyun's sect's handling, he would have killed these people from the Yu family on the spot. This Lu Chongqing must be plotting against us deliberately. Let's fight him. Some members of the Yu family shouted loudly, brandishing their magic artifacts and attacking Lu Chongqing. Bang! Facing such tactics, Lu Chongqing simply slapped them, sending the assailants flying. There is a qualitative difference between spiritual power and mana, as if comparing rocks to tofu. Against these minor qi refinement cultivators, Lu Chongqing didn't even need to use his magic artifacts or techniques. He only needed to unleash his mighty mana to suppress them. Before long, the Ji family's reinforcements arrived, and together with Lu Chongqing, they captured all the members of the Yu family. As expected, Lu Chongqing counted the Yu family members before him and found that, including Yu Ninghu, a total of 6 people were missing. Out of these 5 people, Lu Chongqing couldn't remember the others. But one he distinctly remembered was the Yu family head, Yu Ningyuan. It seems Yu Ninghu knew that colluding with the demon path was tantamount to seeking skin from a tiger and has already sent some people away. Moreover, by colluding with the demon path, they must have thought of some way to violate the oath bound by the heart demon, the second-rank spiritual contract. No, that may not be necessary. For these people, fleeing also offers a sliver of hope. At most their path of cultivation will be half ruined. If they continued to stay here, once exposed, it would be a dead end. Lu Chongqing watched all this, pondering to himself. Take these 3 spirit boats. We're escorting these people back to Bai Lake Mountain together. Lu Chongqing, without overthinking, handed out 3 spirit boats to the Ji family, asking them to accompany him on a trip. The plan was to escort these people from the Yu family back to Bai Lake Mountain and wait for Qing Yun's sect to arrive for processing.
Yes, Ancestor Lu.
The Ji family members, upon hearing this, all nodded respectfully. Previously they had heard that this Ancestor Lu from Bai Lake Mountain had average strength, relying solely on talismans. But after witnessing Lu Chongqing suppress the Yu family and others, they immediately realized that the rumors were false, and that this Ancestor Lu's strength was extraordinary. The spirit boat was much slower than the flying shuttle piloted by Lu Chongqing. It took half an hour. The 4 spirit boats descended outside Bai Lake Mountain. Chongqing, does the Yu family truly have ties to the Xiahou devil? Lu Miaoge, upon seeing Lu Chongqing escorting so many cultivators from the Yu family, immediately expressed her surprise. Even with early suspicions, she found it hard to believe that the Yu family could truly be connected with the Xiahou devil. After all, in Jiang country, collusion with the demon path was essentially a death sentence. Yes, Yu Ninghu is no longer at Little Jing Mountain. Yu Ningyuan and several core members of the Yu family are also not at Little Jing Mountain, Lu Chongqing affirmed. Immediately after, Lu Chongqing called over Lu Pingan and Lu Xianji. He instructed them to work with the Ji family's cultivators to imprison all these Yu family cultivators. You all have had a tough job. This is your reward, he said after the work was done. Lu Chongqing then took out 5 middle-grade spirit stones and a second-rank talisman to give to the patriarch of the Ji family. The Ji family had also put in quite some effort. As the family head, he naturally needed to show his appreciation, not letting their efforts go unrewarded.
Thank you, Ancestor Lu. Thank you, Ancestor Lu.
A few of the Ji family cultivators immediately expressed their thanks. Earning 500 spirit stones and a second-rank talisman in less than an hour was a very generous reward for them. After dealing with the Yu family situation, Lu Chongqing waited at home for someone from Qing Yun's sect to arrive. Chapter 632. 40 Spiritual Root Offsprings. Lottery. _ 10 days later. 3 Qing Yun's sect enforcement hall cultivators arrived at Bai Lake Mountain. One of them Lu Chongqing had already met. It was indeed Chu Tiange. After receiving Lu Changsheng's letter, they came to Bai Lake Mountain to investigate the situation. It's indeed a mysterious Yin corpse cultivated by Xiahou money. This corpse has been cultivated to the second-rank middle stage, said a square-faced, dignified middle-aged man as he examined the second-rank corpse before him. After a moment, he stood up, cast a cleansing technique on himself, and asked Lu Chongqing, Lu Daoist, could you please describe the situation from that day? Zi Xiao, you tell Executor Wei about the situation from that day, Lu Chongqing said to Ling Zixiao who was standing beside him. That night, Ling Zixiao's complexion was pale and weak, but she still carried herself with an elegant and dignified demeanor. She spoke gently, slowly recounting the situation of the night. Only mentioning her own physical condition, she indicated that she had used some sort of secret technique. And then, relying on her own third-rank talismans, she desperately managed to slay the person. Bai Shui Clear Sky Great Formation, third-rank talismans. Wei Xing nodded thoughtfully. Before coming here, he had already roughly understood the situation regarding Bai Lake Mountain, Lu Chongqing, and Ling Zixiao. He knew that Ling Zixiao before him was an array master. Indeed, with a combination of a second-rank Great Formation and third-rank talismans, she could kill Xiahou money. Furthermore, considering Ling Zixiao's current condition and the traces of the aftermath of the battle, he could imagine the fierce and dangerous nature of the fight. Lu Daoist, as for the general situation, I am now clear on it. This person is most likely one of the Xiahou demons wanted by our Qing Yun sect, Xiahou Wuxia. As for the matter of the Yu family colluding with the demon path, we will investigate this matter, verify the details, and give you an explanation. Considering that Xiahou money may seek revenge on your family because of this incident, if needed, I can apply on your behalf to the sect to arrange for someone to stay at Bai Lake Mountain. Wei Shang's expression was commanding, somewhat stern yet very courteous in his speech and conduct. This courtesy, besides the status of Lu Chongqing and Ling Zixiao, was also partly due to Lu Changsheng's relationship with Xiao Xia, and their own hall master. After all, he was aware of the incident at the record hall and knew that their hall master was acquainted with Lu Chongqing. This connection alone was enough to change his attitude significantly. Someone to stay and protect? Lu Chongqing, upon hearing this, didn't expect to be offered such treatment. He asked, this arrangement, Does it involve a false core immortal staying and protecting? Even in our Qingyun sect, the false core immortals are limited, so we can only try to arrange for Foundation establishment disciples. Wei Xing immediately shook his head as he spoke. False core immortal, even to Qingyun's sect, represented a high-level combat force. Needed to staff important marketplaces or to oversee territories and handle affairs, it was impossible to bother them for the sake of a minor family. He had offered to apply for someone to stay and protect for Lu Chongqing, solely because of Lu's relationship with their own hall master. Otherwise, for a normal family, without a significant expenditure, such treatment would not be available. There happens to be a good friend of mine in Qingyun's sect. I wonder if it would be possible to arrange for her? Lu Chongqing asked calmly. If it were just an ordinary Foundation establishment cultivator, he naturally wouldn't want to invite one to stay with his family. But it occurred to him that if he could have Xiaofan stay and protect his family, that would be ideal. Upon hearing this, Wei Xing's first instinct was to say it was not possible. Arranging for protection was already a considerable privilege, and now you want to choose the person? But upon hearing Lu Chongqing mention a good friend, he immediately guessed it was Xiaofan. Remembering Lu Changsheng's inexplicable relationship with their hall master, he hesitated slightly and said, I cannot decide on this matter, Lu Daoist. You can ask your friend to apply to the sect and try. All right, I'll ask her when the time comes, Lu Chongqing replied upon hearing this. Good, Lu Daoist, if there are any updates regarding Xiaoho money, feel free to send us a message any time. And if we have any related information, we will also send you a message. As for this incident, if it's confirmed that this person is Xiaoho Wuxia, our Qingyun sect will also issue the bounty reward. Wei Xing nodded and said aloud. Much obliged, Wei Daoist, Lu Chongqing said, bowing with his hands clasped in thanks. After finalizing matters, Wei Shang and the other two took the Yu family and others and left. With this issue resolved, the Yu family's problem should also be largely settled. Even if there are Yu family cultivators hiding outside, they can only live under false names, Ling Zixiao said softly. Lu Chongqing nodded in agreement. However, in his view, Yu family cultivators hiding outside were still a problem. After all, his family had so many children. They couldn't possibly never go out and stay by Lake Mountain at all times. This was also why most family powers rarely resorted to completely turning against each other in life or death struggles. Because for such matters, one must be thoroughly committed to the task, to eradicate the roots completely. However, within the 99 mystical talisman scripture, there are several life-saving talismans like the Life Substitute Talisman. Once my drawing of third-rank talismans becomes more secure and I collect the required materials, the children can use them, Lu Chongqing pondered within. He then wrote a letter to Xiaofan, mentioning the matter of family protection. On the vast expanse of Bai Shui Lake, Lu Chongqing and Chu Zhenjin were sitting in a small boat, each holding a bamboo fishing rod, fishing. Next to the boat, Lu Wangshu, dressed in a pink brocade dress, sat squatting on a cold blue dark turtle. Holding a mini fishing rod, she fished with earnestness. Seeing the fishing rod in her hand start to bend, Lu Wangshu immediately shouted excitedly, Daddy, Mommy, I've got another fish. Little Wangshu is so amazing. Chu Zhenjin, seeing this, instantly smiled and encouraged out loud, helping Lu Wangshu lift the fishing rod. Chapter 633. 40 Spiritual Root Offspring. Lottery. Then she put the spiritual fish she had hooked into the basket by her side and said to Lu Chongqing, Husband, look, Wangshu caught even more than you did. Haha, fishing is mainly about cultivating one's sentiments. As long as you're happy, why care whether you catch any fish or not? Upon hearing this, the corners of Lu Changsheng's mouth twitched as he stubbornly said. Afterward he looked towards the distance, where his brothers Lu Pingon, Lu Xianji, and Lu Yun were fishing with a net on a large boat, and shouted loudly, Would you guys keep it down and move further away? You're scaring all my fish away. Dad, we're already so far away. How can you still blame us? Lu Yun, upon hearing this, immediately called out in protest. You rascal! Lu Chongqing said with annoyance. Then, looking at his own fishing hook, he was full of confusion as to why he wasn't getting any bites. Husband, Feifei is about to give birth. At that moment, Lu Miaoyun came flying over on a cloud veil and spoke to Lu Chongqing, signaling that the child in the concubine by Feifei's womb was going to be born. Good. Lu Chongxing immediately went to sea with Chu Zhenzhen and Lu Miaoyun. But his daughter Lu Wangshu was still eager to continue fishing. Lu Chongxing immediately called Lu Xianji over to keep an eye on his precious daughter, lest the fish should pull her into the lake. Coming to the Lu family mansion at Baiyun Peak, Lu Chongsheng and several wives and concubines chatted as they waited outside the delivery room. He was quite expectant of the child in by Fei Fei's belly. If this child had a spiritual root, it would be his 40th child with a spiritual root. The system would likely accompany this with a child money reward. Time passed by bit. About half an hour later, with a mystical tremor, the system's notification sounded. Congratulations, host, for your 40 progeny with spiritual roots. You have earned 1 lottery draw chance. Not only does this child have a spiritual root, but it's also a pretty good one, probably a 5th grade spiritual root. Lu Chongxing immediately deduced the child's spiritual root situation through the tremor. This instantly cheered him up. Not long afterward, the door to the delivery room opened.
Congratulations, master. It's a young master.
The midwife came out of the room holding an infant, wrapped in swaddling clothes and looking adorable, and greeted Lu Chongxing with a cheerful smile. As a foundation establishment cultivator, and with Bai Fei being a cultivator at the 6th level of energy refinement, the infant was rosy and cute right from birth.
Good. A reward is in order.
Lu Chongxing took out 10 lower-grade spirit stones from his storage bag to give as a reward. Thank you, master. Thank you, master. The midwife's face bloomed like a chrysanthemum with her smile. She was originally just an external cultivator of the Lu family. But ever since she was appointed to Lu Changsheng's household to aid in childbirth, her days were thriving. Not only was her work much easier, but whenever she helped with childbirth for Lu Changsheng's family, she often received red envelopes and auspicious money. When Lu Chongxing moved to Bai Lake Mountain, she came along too, and now the well-being of an entire family depended on her.
Fei, you've worked hard.
After looking at his son for a few moments, Lu Chongxing went to Bai Fei's room and said gently. Having well over 100 children, he no longer felt much inner turmoil over such events. But it was still important to show the right attitude. Plus, this child not only had a 5th grade spiritual root but also came with system-granted child money, leaving him in quite a good mood.
Husband, it wasn't difficult.
Bai Fei was somewhat surprised and touched by Lu Changsheng's comforting words. When she gave birth to her first child, Lu Chongxing wasn't even at home. Now that Lu Chongxing had become a foundation-building great cultivator and the master of Bai Lake Mountain, and he actually waited outside the birthing room and came to comfort her as soon as he could, she was pleasantly astonished. After a brief conversation with Bai Fei and telling her to rest well, Lu Chongxing left.
System.
Lu Chongxing went to the top of Baiyun Peak and summoned his mental spirit to connect with the system, looking up his newly born child. Name, Lu Yunfei. Lifespan, 178th. Talent, 5th grade spiritual root. Cultivation level, none. Indeed, a 5th grade spiritual root. Now, aside from Pingon, my Lu family finally has a second child with a 5th grade spiritual root. Lu Chongxing exhaled lightly, his face bearing a faint smile. Having a 5th grade spiritual root meant that this child had the potential for foundation establishment. However, to advance my 4th grade spiritual root to the 3rd grade, I still need a child with a 4th grade spiritual root. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to slowly accumulate enough. Lu Chongxing thought about his own spiritual root. He was full of anticipation for the children yet to be born, especially the one in Nangong Meili's belly. Bai Fei's child has been born. I wonder what exactly is going on with the child in Nangong Meili's belly. At this moment, Lu Chongxing thought of the child in Nangong Meili's belly, unsure of its condition. System, draw the lottery.
Without wasting another thought, he silently prompted the lottery to begin in his mind.
He was curious to see if this lottery draw would bring him any precious elixir medicines or heaven and earth treasures that might resolve Ling Zixio's health issues. Even though Ling Zixio's condition had begun to improve with his and Lu Maiage's treatment, he felt somewhat guilty towards her and wanted to make it up to her so that she could recover sooner. The familiar system roulette wheel appeared, then spun rapidly with a glow of golden light. Under Lu Changsheng's expectant gaze, the gold light landed on skills. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining 2nd-rank wine brewing skills. The reward has been distributed to the system space. The host can check it at any time. A light orb shaped like a wine jug emerged from the roulette wheel, along with the system's voice. Second-rank wine brewing skills. Upon use, one can directly master second-rank wine brewing skills and the corresponding complete compendium of wines. Chapter 634. 40 Spiritual Root Offsprings. Lottery Draw, Wine Brewing. Lu Chongqing furrowed his brows upon seeing the reward for this lottery draw. As his strength and status grew, he gradually became indifferent to the various skills in cultivation. Because even if he mastered these skills, they took up a lot of time to utilize. Just like how he now had mastered second-rank talisman making, second-rank puppeteering, second-rank spirit slaughterer, and second-rank alchemy. But as a single person, he simply couldn't afford to be distracted by so many tasks. As for passing them down to children and teaching future generations, skills like these were not easy to teach and took a lot of time. If it's wine brewing, let it be wine brewing then. At least it's still a second-grade skill. Besides, alcoholic beverages can be produced on an industrial assembly line. With this second-grade wine brewing skill, I can brew second-rank spirits for myself and also add a line of alcoholic drink production to the family enterprise. Lu Chongqing thought for a moment, mulling over the idea. He then looked at the orb of light in the system space and used it on himself. Suddenly, a surge of knowledge flowed into his mind out of nowhere. Introduction to Wine Brewing, Basics of Wine Brewing Compendium, First-Grade Wine Brewing Compendium, Second-Grade Wine Brewing Compendium. Drink the strongest spirits, love the dearest ones, savor different wines, enjoy a refined life after a long time. Knowledge about wine brewing poured into Lu Chongqing's mind like a revelation, allowing him to fully grasp the processes of brewing, purifying, fermenting, and storing spiritual alcohols, among others. It's worthy of being a second-grade skill. Even though it's just a minor art in the 100 skills of cultivation, it's quite complex. Spirit fruit wine, spirit rice wine, spirit grain wine, spiritual medicine wine, special types of spiritual wines. Lu Chongqing quietly digested the knowledge about wine brewing in his mind. He used to often drink Lu families by Lake Bamboo wine and White Jade 100 Flowers wine, so he had a fair understanding of wine brewing thanks to the fifth elder of the Lu family. But now, with the second-grade wine brewing skill, Lu Chongqing realized how simple and crude the Lu family's previous wine brewing practice was. This wine brewing can actually be considered a branch of alchemy. Compared to elixir medicines, spiritual alcohols have the advantage of tasting good, suitable for entertaining guests and lightening the mood. And their effects are gentler than those of elixir medicines, practically non-toxic, without side effects, unlike elixir medicines that carry elixir toxicity, and too much consumption can even lead to immunity. Now with Zi Xiao's health condition, she needs to be nursed gradually. Harsh treatments can't be applied, so if I can brew and modulate a type of spiritual wine suitable for her, it might aid in her recovery. Lu Chongqing pondered the possibilities in his mind, thinking as a second-tier top-level wine master, he could totally customize drinks according to Ling Zixio's condition. This would certainly be a significant help to her recovery. Immediately, Lu Chongqing considered Ling Zixio's situation and organized his thoughts. He then took out writing materials and listed various spiritual medicines, materials, and tools, instructing the Ji family to purchase them for him. Having learned from previous experiences, he naturally wouldn't wander recklessly anymore. For everything else, he would have the Ji family beside him take care of it. And the Ji family was more than happy to undertake such tasks. Half a month later, after receiving a response from Hong Yi, Lu Chongqing sent Lu Miaoge with Lu Pingan to Rui Prefecture to bring some of the Lu family disciples back to Bai Lake Mountain. Taking into account the safety issues and considering so many family disciples, Lu Chongqing directly spent 3,000 spirit stones and also used a superior-grade second-rank talisman as compensation to request the protection of a Foundation Establishment Escort Master from Heaven's Might Escort Agency. 2 Foundation-building Great Cultivators, 3 Energy Refinement Late-Stage Cultivators, and 1 Martial Arts Great Master escorted commoners the entire way, which was quite an extravagant measure. This gave Lu Chongqing yet another reputation for being extravagant and opulent. However, Lu Chongqing did this on purpose. Through this way, he revealed to the outside world that he had become a second-grade superior talisman master, and that in the Red Leaf Valley Market, his own Peace Talisman Hall would add a superior-grade talisman every 3 months. From Rui Prefecture to Bai Lake Mountain is not far. Taking a spirit boat, It's about a 4-day journey. This trip could be said to be very safe, as no danger or trouble was encountered. Faced with this situation, the escort master was very polite. He said that since they encountered no danger and the task was too simple, he refunded 2,000 spirit stones to Lu Chongqing. Escort Master Lu, how could I accept this? Lu Chongqing spoke out. Knowing that his family had a second-rank talisman master and a second-rank array master, the other party was using this gesture to foster good relations with him. Master Lu is too polite. We can do more business in this regard in the future. Lu Haijin appeared to be in his 40s, tall and strong, not only possessing foundation establishment cultivation but also a body cultivator. Those capable of opening an escort agency and being an escort guard generally have extraordinary combat abilities. Of course, in 1 month's time, during my Lu family's clan establishment ceremony, if Escort Master Lu is free, you're welcome to attend. Lu Chongqing said politely. He knew that he would inevitably deal with such escort agencies in the future. After all, aside from himself and Lu Miaoge, the family currently lacked high-level combat power. In the future, there would be many occasions when outside business would require the use of escort guards.
Good eye, Lu, will certainly come to attend then.
Lu Haijin spoke out. As escort guards tasked with protecting and escorting others, they naturally needed to prepare many life-saving measures. And talismans are one of the best choices for cultivators. Getting to know someone like Lu Chongqing, a second-grade superior talisman master, and securing a stable source of talismans was a great opportunity for them. After seeing off Lu Haijin, Lu Chongqing settled his wife and children. Although wives and children came on this trip, not many ultimately planned to settle in by Lake Mountain. Because many of the children grew up in Qingzhou Mountain, they roughly knew about by Lake Mountain. Now accustomed to the prosperous outside world, having established families outside, many were unwilling to settle in by Lake Mountain. Or they felt that without spiritual roots, they would not fit in at by Lake Mountain. Faced with this situation, Lu Chongqing had long been clear about it, so he let them make their own choices. One day, Lu Chongqing received a reply from Xiaofan. She mentioned that it was also difficult for her to move an array master within Qingyun sect. To invite a second-tier top-level array master, Lu Changsheng would have to use a Qingyun order to ask for someone. However, she stated that she could invite a first-grade top-level array master. If Lu Chongqing needed, she could bring the person over when she came to attend the Lu family clan establishment ceremony in a while, using a Qingyun order to request someone from Qingyun sect. Hearing this, Lu Chongqing pondered in his heart. He wouldn't mind using a Qingyun order to invite an array master to come over and rearrange by Lake Mountain inside and out. But this Qingyun order was obtained by his loose cultivator identity, Han Li. Once used, who knew if it would bring about more trouble?
I'll wait for Shiyu to come over and then decide.
Lu Chongqing thought for a bit and replied to Xiaofan. He planned to wait for the clan establishment ceremony and then decide when Xiaofan arrived. At that time, he could also ask Meng Yibai and Lady Meng about it and thank her master. As for the matter of the family guarding the site, it was not mentioned in the letter, probably because Xiaofan had not yet received the letter he sent afterward. Lu Chongqing wasn't in a hurry and decided to ask about everything at once. Chapter 635. Family Function, the Lu Family Genealogy. Under one before my eyes, a month had passed. As the establishment ceremony of the Lu family of Blue Lake Mountain drew near, the whole of Blue Lake Mountain was bustling with activity. Many family powers sent representatives to observe the ceremony and offer congratulations. After all, Lu Chongqing, the master of Blue Lake Mountain, had established the Lu family with his inheritance of the talisman path, having slain 3 foundation establishment great cultivators of the Yu family on his own, earning himself a formidable reputation. His Dao companion, Ling Zixiao, was an array master. Not long ago, when Lu Chongqing visited the Qingyun sect, Ling Zixiao single-handedly killed the approaching Xiahou money. This news also shocked and stunned many of the surrounding family powers. The greatest deed Xiahou money had committed was annihilating Feng family fortress in one night, killing 2 foundation establishment ancestors. However, this terrifying Xiahou money had taken a tumble at Blue Lake Mountain, which was truly shocking. This spread the fame and prestige of the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family far and wide. Wugong Ridge, Zhang family ancestor, has arrived. 100 Birds Lake, by family ancestor, has arrived. Qingzhou Mountain, Lu family ancestor, has arrived. On this day, the establishment ceremony of the Lu family of Blue Lake Mountain officially began. At the mountain gate, Lu Pingon and his brothers welcomed the guests who arrived to partake in the Lu family celebration. Ordinary Lu's cultivators and energy-refining family powers nearby were received by Lu Pingon and others, who guided them to their seats in the villa. The prominent foundation-building great cultivators were personally escorted by Lu Miaoge and seated in the grand hall. Qingyun's sect, Zhao Qingqing, has arrived. Qingyun's sect, Han Lin, has arrived. Qingyun's sect, Xia Zhaoyang, has arrived. At this moment, a few of Lu Changsheng's good friends arrived. Hearing these voices, Lu Chongxing personally went out to welcome them. Lu Daoist, brother-in-law. Daoist Zhao, Daoist Han, Zhaoyang. Lu Chongxing smiled and nodded, leading them to their seats. Many people in the hall were surprised to see this scene. They hadn't expected Lu Chongxing to have so many friends in the Qingyun sect. Qingyun sect's fairy Shi Yu presents her congratulations to the establishment of the Lu family of Blue Lake Mountain. Just at that moment, a voice called out, shocking many of the smaller family forces who had arrived. Qingyun sect's fairy Shi Yu? Is it the Qingyun sect's Kai Yun True Immortal's high disciple, Xiao Shi Yu, who has come to attend the Blue Lake Mountain's establishment ceremony? I never expected Ancestor Lu to have such connections with the Qingyun sect. I've heard that the Mountain Lord Lu not only possesses great destiny but also an unusual romantic charm. Could it be that he has a special relationship with Fairy Shi Yu of the Qingyun sect as well? Hiss, we shouldn't speak recklessly. Hearing this commotion, the family powers were inwardly shocked, gaining a new understanding of the network of relationships of Blue Lake Mountain. After all, for them, even just having a bit of acquaintance with a foundation establishment disciple of the Qingyun sect was remarkable. And now, a high disciple of a nascent soul immortal was willing to attend the Blue Lake Mountain establishment ceremony. Fairy Shi Yu. Inside the grand hall, when Lu Chongxing heard of Xiao Shi Yu's arrival, his face immediately revealed a smile, and he went outside to greet her. Lu Daoist. Clad in a moon-white dress, Xiao Shi Yu resembled a nine-heavens bright moon, exuding a cool and noble aura that captured the attention of several people who wanted to greet her. Please take a seat, Fairy Shi Yu. Their current relationship was not yet suitable for public disclosure. It was as ordinary as that of other guests. However, Ling Zixiao beside him couldn't help but take an extra glance at Xiao Shi Yu. Little Wang Shu's eyebrows and eyes, they bear a resemblance to Fairy Shi Yu. Chu Zhenjin, too, was somewhat taken aback as she observed Xiao Shi Yu. As time slowly ticked away and most of the guests had arrived, Lu Chongxing saw that the auspicious time had come. He stood up with Ling Zixiao and Lu Miaoge, raised his cup, and declared, I am honored by everyone's presence at the establishment ceremony of my Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. Today, I formally announce, the Lu family of Blue Lake Mountain is established. Lu Chongxing took a deep breath and spoke out loud. Congratulations, Lu Mountain Lord. As Qingzhou Mountain Lu family, we celebrate Blue Lake Mountain Lu family's establishment, wishing prosperity, and that one day it will rise to be a golden core family renowned throughout the southern wilderness. As Hundred Birds Lake by family, we congratulate Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. As Small G Mountain G family, we congratulate Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. As Wugong Ridge Zheng family, we congratulate Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. All the attending guests and family powers raised their cups in congratulations to Lu Chongxing upon hearing his announcement. At that moment, suddenly, a system notification rang out. Congratulations, host, the total number of your progeny has reached 100, a cultivation family is established, the family function is unlocked, and you receive the unique treasure Lu family genealogy. The family function, Lu family genealogy? Lu Chongxing heard this system notification and was momentarily taken aback. He hadn't expected that aside from opening a system panel before, now that he had established his family and held a ceremony, he would unlock a family function and obtain a Lu family genealogy. He didn't look into these details and kept his expression unchanged as he drained the cup in one gulp. My fellow Taoists, I, Lu Chongxing, hereby pledge that Blue Lake Mountain will adhere to an independent and peaceful foreign policy, and will always follow the path of peaceful development. We of Blue Lake Mountain Lu family are willing to join all major families and powers in creating a mutually beneficial and commonly prosperous future. Lu Chongqing continued to speak. This establishment ceremony was not only a family founding ritual, but also a means to express his family's stance to outsiders, seeking sufficient partners for cooperation. We of Qingzhou Mountain wish to have an intimate relationship with Blue Lake Mountain and create a wonderful future together. We of 100 Birds Lake by family wish to form an everlasting alliance with Blue Lake Mountain. We of Wugong Ridge Zhang family wish to form an everlasting alliance with Blue Lake Mountain. Our family feels the same. Hearing this, the family powers one after another expressed their position. Chapter 636. Family Function, the Lu Family Genealogy. Having people to warm up the scene really does make things better. Lu Chongqing watched Lu Yuanzhong and Bai Yunyang, who always made timely statements to set the tone and atmosphere, and nodded to himself in approval. He then chatted and drank with the cultivators in the Great Hall. During the process, he expressed that his family was now in a state of rebuilding, and many tasks could not be undertaken due to the lack of manpower. Thus, many shops were subletting and several spirit stone mines required collaboration with others. Originally, Lu Chongqing planned to slowly take over the properties under the name of the Yu family. But because of Xiahou Money's incident, most of the Yu family's people were taken away by the Qingyun sect, making a stable handover impossible. With such an abundance of properties, it was clear his own family's people couldn't manage them all. So after keeping some of the businesses, he sold and rented out the others to Qingzhou Mountain, 100 Birds Lake, and other families. This was seen as the Lu family's first friendly cooperation with outsiders. As for those shops and businesses, he planned to recover them when the children of the family were capable enough to hold their weight. Furthermore, in Lu Changsheng's view, controlling the 4 major industries of talisman making, alchemy, puppetry, and wine brewing was already sufficient. Expanding the market, engaging in foreign trade, and sales issues could be fully carried out through cooperation with the surrounding families. Seeing Lu Chongqing selling and leasing so many high-quality properties below market price, these families were very delighted to take on cooperation, expressing hopes to have more exchanges with his family in the future. Afterward, Lu Chongqing publicly expressed that his family now had many children and that future generations should communicate more. Upon hearing this, many small families immediately stated that they had descendants who could interact with the Lu family disciples. The foundation-building family banquet held by Lu Chongqing and Lu Xianzi's marriage to Su Tiaoer had caused much envy among many small family forces. Not only did they receive a substantial bride price, they also clung to the coattails of Lu Chongqing, the master of Bai Lake Mountain. Given such an opportunity, they naturally did not want to miss it. Moreover, after getting to know him over time, the surrounding families knew that Lu Chongqing was exceptional in treating his children. Previously, he had directly spent thousands of spirit stones and second-rank talismans to send away his non-spiritual root mortal children. The family establishment ceremony over, Lu Chongqing held the wedding preparations. Back when he married Lu Miaoyun, he had promised Lu Lanshu, Lu Qing'er, Lu Zier, Chu Zhenjin, and others that he would give them a grand wedding in the future. Now that the family was established, naturally, he would not forget these wives and concubines. After all, without a legitimate wife to bear his children for 10 months and raise them, he would not have reached his current status in just over 20 years. A virtuous wife supports my aspirations to soar, and I shall take her along as I ascend the clouds. Despite all of them being celebrated together, the wedding was extremely grand. It left all the guests and visitors deeply moved by the spectacle. They thought to themselves that Lu Chongqing was indeed a man of deep sentiment and affection. Having become a foundation establishment great cultivator, he not only did not abandon his poor wife but also, once a son-in-law and a family son-in-law, now made up for the lack of a perfect wedding by rehosting it. Even the maids who were once bought by Lu Chongqing were now given a status, becoming concubines. This gesture greatly moved many family forces and female cultivators. They considered whether or not they should offer themselves as concubines or maids to Lu Chongqing. After all, not only was Lu Chongqing a foundation establishment great cultivator and the master of Bai Lake Mountain, a second-ranked talisman master, but he was also strikingly handsome. Under such circumstances, still being so profoundly loyal and affectionate, he was simply the dream lover. The only flaw was that he might be a bit too amorous. But compared to his merits, this flaw seemed not so significant. Besides, for a dignified foundation establishment great cultivator, a second-rank talisman master, having several wives and maids was quite normal, wasn't it? The next day, the family founding ceremony and the wedding ended, and the guests each returned to their homes. The whole by Lake Mountain suddenly became much quieter.
Xiyu, rest assured, one day I will surely gain the approval of your master and go to Qingyun's sect to ask for your hand in marriage, and well hold a grand Dao companion ceremony.
After spending the wedding night, Lu Chongxing immediately went to the courtyard where Xiaofan lived and spoke out loud. Having rehosted a wedding for his wives and concubines the day before, but unable to reveal his relationship with Xiaofan had left him feeling very guilty. Proposing to the Qingyun sect. Xiaoxia's slightly cool face heard these words, her lips lightly pursed, her eyes softened, showing a bit of longing. Even though she cultivated the supreme forgetful love technique, witnessing Lu Changsheng's wedding with his wives and concubines the day before, she couldn't help feeling a bit of desire. The thought of being legitimately together with Lu Changsheng one day. But remembering her supreme forgetful love technique, the golden core path, she said softly, Chongxing, there's no need for such efforts. Xiyu, this is my promise, rest assured, before you reach core formation, I will surely find a perfect solution. Before Xiaofan could finish speaking, Lu Chongxing grasped her soft white hand and spoke firmly. Xiaoxia's core formation would take at least another 30 to 50 years. He believed that within this time, he would certainly be able to address her situation. If all else fails, he would reach core formation before her and simply go to Qingyun's sect to propose. With his extraordinary talent, once he achieved core formation, he should be invincible at the same level, shouldn't he? By then, he would not need to continue lying low in Jiang country and could afford to be a bit bolder. Chongxing. Xiaoxia's heart fluttered, but before she could continue, Lu Chongxing had already closed in. Xiyu, I've missed you. He pulled the graceful figure wrapped in the moon-white dress into his embrace, capturing the slightly parted laurel lips. Chapter 637. Family Function, the Lu Family Genealogy. The fairy's delicate body trembled slightly, she moaned softly, and then slowly closed her bright eyes, passionately responding. The usually aloof and noble nine heavens bright moon, at this moment, revealed a tenderness uniquely hers. Accompanied by slightly hurried breathing, Xiaoxia's dress became disheveled, her jade face blushed like dusk, as she collapsed into Lu Changsheng's arms. Xiyu's beauty remains as ever. Lu Changsheng's hand wandered over her full and ample form, he softly said.
With so many gentle wives and beautiful concubines at home, you still weren't satisfied last night, and now you take liberties with me as soon as you see me.
Xiaoxia's face was flushed, her voice carried a hint of reproach, far from her usual fairy-like demeanor. If others from the banquet were to see such a scene, they would likely question their lives. My longing for Xiyu is beyond my control. Lu Chongxing looked at the enchanting face of the fairy before him and said so.
In his words, his hands deftly began to undo the fairy's dress.
Don't. Not here, let's go to the room. Xiaoxia said in a slightly urgent voice. Immediately, Lu Chongxing carried the fairy's jade form into the room, where the two expressed their yearning for each other. Afterward, Xiyu, about the matter of taking charge of by Lake Mountain, do you think the sect will agree? If it's possible, then we wouldn't need to be apart like this. Lu Chongxing held Xiaoxia, her skin as icy and smooth as jade, gently wiping the fragrant sweat from her fair and slippery skin, and spoke in a gentle voice. I will visit the sect later if my master agrees, then it should be possible. Xiaoxia gently pursed her lips and spoke softly. Compared to staying in Green River Marketplace, she naturally preferred to take charge here at by Lake Mountain. Not only would she be able to be with Lu Chongxing, but she could also spend time with their daughter. Her past few interactions with her daughter lacked the close intimacy of a mother and child, which filled her with guilt. All right, there's no need to force things. After hearing this, Lu Chongxing spoke softly, unwilling to make Xiaoxia uncomfortable. By the way, Xiyu, last time I went to Qingyun's sect to handle registration and records. Lu Chongxing spoke of the events he encountered during his previous visit to the Qingyun sect. Lady Meng, Xiaoxia heard this, her brows slightly furrowed, and she said softly, I've heard a little about it. I learned that Lady Meng was punished by my master to reflect in the Xianyin cave for 10 years. Sent to reflect in the Xianyin cave for 10 years? Lu Chongsheng was stunned when he heard this. He hadn't expected such a development to the incident. Kai Yun, true immortal for such a minor matter, had sent Lady Meng, a false core immortal, to reflect. I've only heard about it, but the specifics are unclear. But it seems that Lady Meng must suspect you. I guess it's because of the incident where you came to Green River Marketplace and then eliminated the Yu family's Foundation establishment cultivators, which aroused Lady Meng's suspicions. Xiaofan pondered slightly and expressed her thoughts. Yet she was puzzled as to why, for such a trivial matter, her master would punish Lady Meng with 10 years in the Xianyin Cave. After all, the Xianyin Cave was one of the Qingyun sect's 10 major punishments. Furthermore, as a false core immortal, even if Lady Meng violated the sect's rules, she would usually be assigned to a bitterly cold place to stand guard, not sent to reflect. Also, hearing from Lu Chongqing that her master had inquired into the matter, she suspected that her master might also be aware of what had happened. That's possible. Lu Chongqing nodded. He had suspected this before, thinking that apart from these reasons, he didn't know what else might cause Lady Meng to suspect him. Chongqing, do you plan to use the Qingyun token to invite an array master from Qingyun sect to set up formations at Bai Lake Mountain? Xiaofan asked out loud. That's right, I was planning to have Zishao do it, but because of the incident with Xiaoho Money, Zishao was injured and won't be able to engage in formation-related matters for a while, Lu Chongqing sighed. Although using the Qingyun token just to invite an array master seems somewhat wasteful, the issue of the family's great formation couldn't remain unresolved forever. Chongqing, give me the Qingyun token, and I will go to Qingyun sect on this trip to inquire for you about the array master. Xiaofan said out loud. She felt that her master suspected that Lu Chongqing had killed Meng Yibai, so she thought of taking the token to the Qingyun sect herself in order to subtly indicate to her master that Lu Chongqing was the loose cultivator, Han Li. In this way, on account of Lu Chongqing once saving her senior sister, maybe her master would not pursue the matter any further. Although she found her master's current response puzzling, she still intended to proceed this way. Okay, since that's the case, I'll trouble you with this, Yu, Lu Chongqing said upon hearing her offer. The couple chatted casually and shared a tender moment, then dressed and left the yard, ready to visit their daughter. Chapter 638. Family Talent. True Spirit Immortality. Under 1, Chongqing Xiyu, you've come. In the courtyard, Lu Miaoga had her hair pinned into a bun, wearing a snow-white dress. Her face was pretty and gentle, quietly watching Lu Wangshu eat with gusto. Seeing Lu Chongqing and Xiaofan arrive, a gentle smile appeared on her face. Sister Miaoga. Miaoga. Lu Chongqing and Xiaofan nodded slightly, then turned to look at Lu Wangshu. The little girl was holding a large bowl, scooping food earnestly with a small spoon. Her cheeks puffed out like a hamster's, chubby and incredibly cute. Is it that delicious? Upon seeing his daughter's blissfully happy face, Lu Chongqing couldn't help but feel his appetite stir. Delicious, I'm eating now. Don't disturb me, Lu Wangshu's muffled voice replied. All right, take your time eating. Upon seeing this, Lu Chongqing chuckled indulgently. He knew his daughter disliked talking or being disturbed while eating. Immediately, 3 foundation-building great cultivators watched Lu Wangshu eat with a serious face. After nearly finishing her meal, the little girl's eyes narrowed into a line, her face showing a content and adorable expression. She patted her little stomach and sweetly called out to Lu Chongqing and Xiaofan. Daddy, Mommy. Still remembering Daddy and Mommy, huh? Wangshu, Daddy is asking you, if Daddy fell into Bai Shui Lake, would you first eat the Lotus 8 treasure rice, the white jade bun, or the jade dew lotus seed soup? Lu Chongqing asked his daughter. After thinking for a moment, Lu Wangshu lifted her head and said, First eat the jade dew lotus seed soup. Then what would you do if Daddy fell into Bai Shui Lake? Lu Chongqing teased his daughter. Lu Wangshu tilted her head to look at her naively serious father and said, Aren't you still here? How could you fall into the lake? Daddy is saying if. If Daddy fell into the lake, would you save Daddy? Lu Chongqing continued to inquire. I wouldn't. Lu Wangshu cutely laid her little head on the table, speaking candidly. Why not? Lu Chongqing urged further. Because Daddy, you can fly on your own, and I'm too small, I couldn't save you. Lu Wangshu's voice carried a hint of disdain. My Wangshu is so smart. Daddy can fly, and Wangshu is so small, such a savior. Xiaofan, next to her, had a face full of motherly adoration, rubbed her daughter's little head, and said happily. He, mommy, let's go fishing, Lu Wangshu said cheerfully to Xiaofan. Having gone fishing with Lu Chongqing a few times, she had fallen in love with fishing and insisted on riding the cold blue dark turtle to fish in by Shui Lake every day. But due to the grand ceremonies these past few days, nobody had accompanied her. Wangshu can fish now? Xiaofan was somewhat surprised to hear this. She didn't expect her daughter to have learned fishing at just 5 years old. Could it be that Lu Wangshu was still so little that the fish in by Shui Lake could pull her into the water? Could they? I'm super good at fishing. Not like Daddy, who can't catch any fish. Lu Wangshu declared with her head held up high. How can you talk like that, Daddy? I was just not being serious. Lu Chongqing, hearing this, immediately felt indignant. Nye. Lu Wangshu made a cheeky face, giggling. I had prepared some candied hawthorns for you, but now, you're not getting any. Lu Chongqing snorted lightly as he spoke. I knew Daddy was the best, the most doting on me. Lu Wangshu immediately propped up her chin with both hands, looking adorably earnest. Humph. Lu Chongqing snorted lightly again. Daddy, please, you're the best, Daddy. Lu Wangshu cooed sweetly. You've just had a full meal, you can't eat more. Lu Chongqing, listening to the coquettish pleading, laughed and said. No, please. Lu Wangshu hopped off the chair and clung to Lu Changsheng's legs, continuing to act coquettishly. Such a grown-up, yet still acting like a child. Xiaofan watched the scene unfold, showing fake anger at Lu Chongqing, signaling him to give his daughter the candied hawthorns. All right, you really are a little foodie, but there's only one skewer. Lu Chongqing took out a food box from his storage bag, opened it in front of Lu Wangshu, making the little girl drool in anticipation. He took out a skewer of candied hawthorns for his daughter. Then he took out another skewer for Lu Miaoge and Xiaofan. The two women couldn't help but smile warmly when they saw they were also included. Still smiling, they each took a candied hawthorn and tasted it. Mommy, can I try the one you have, please? After licking her own for a bit, Lu Wangshu looked at Xiaofan and Lu Miaoge with hopeful eyes. Haven't you tasted that already? Lu Chongqing, eyeing his daughter's foodie antics, said in a tone lacking enthusiasm. But I haven't tried 3 flavors at the same time. Lu Wangshu declared with righteous zeal. Upon hearing this, both women couldn't help but laugh gently. They let their daughter taste their own candied hawthorns. After tasting them, Lu Wangshu smacked her lips and revealed a satisfied expression. Then she offered her own candied hawthorn to the two women, saying, Mommy. So sweet. Xiaofan took a simple bite and responded with fondness in her eyes. Mommy, let me take you to see the little turtle Daddy gave me. After finishing the candied hawthorns, Lu Wangshu pulled Xiaofan to the backyard pond to see the cold blue dark turtle. Hee. Lu Chongqing watched this scene with a smile full of joy on his face. Then, seeing Lu Miaoge beside him deep in thought with longing in her eyes, he knew she was missing Lu Qingzhu. He immediately took hold of Lu Miaoge's hand, speaking gently. Sister Miaoge, in a few years, once things have settled down, we'll visit Qingshan and Qingzhu at Jinyang sect in your country. Originally, he had planned that in a few years, once the family situation was stable, they would head to Jinyang sect in your country to visit their children. Chapter 639. Family Talent. True Spirit Immortality. But now, he couldn't leave for a distant journey with the Xiaoho money affair unresolved, the great formation of the family unfinished, and the Mount Sumeru Tree King not planted. Lu Miaoge came back to her senses and responded softly. More than a year had passed, and she indeed missed her daughter a little. She wondered how Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu were doing at the Jinyang sect. But she also knew that given the current situation, she and Lu Chongqing really didn't have the time to go out. Little ice, charge. It wasn't long before Lu Wangshu, carrying a fish basket on his back and holding a fishing rod, came out slowly from the backyard, seated on the shell of the cold blue dark turtle. Xiao Shiyu stood by, her face filled with an indulgent smile. Apart from Lu Chongqing, only Lu Wangshu could make this cold and noble fairy show such an expression all the time. Daddy, Mommy, are you going fishing? Lu Wangshu sat cross-legged on the turtle shell and shouted loudly to Lu Chongqing and Lu Miaoge. Hee. Daddy still has some things to do. You go with Mommy first, and Daddy will come later. Lu Chongqing said with a chuckle.
The family function opened by the system, and the Lu family tree, which he had been too busy to study until now. He prepared to take a look at it now.
Mommy also has some things to do. Lu Miaoge said softly. Since Xiao Shiyu was accompanying her daughter, she naturally did not want to be around. Well, okay then. Lu Wangshu's little face showed a hint of disappointment, then pointing toward the direction of Bai Shui Lake, he said to Xiao Shiyu, Mommy, fly. All right, Xiao Shiyu said with an indulgent laughter, then with a lift of her hand. Suddenly, the cold blue dark turtle and Lu Wangshu flew up, heading toward Bai Shui Lake. Shiyu also only shows such an expression when facing Wangshu. Lu Miaoge said with a light laugh as she watched Xiao Shiyu leave. Although her relationship with Xiao Shiyu was good, this was because they were connected by Lu Wangshu. If she met with Xiao Shiyu alone, the latter's cool and distant temperament, like that of the nine heavens bright moon, really kept people at a distance. It also made her couldn't help but feel amazed that Lu Chongqing was actually able to move such a fairy. Shiyu rarely sees Wangshu, so she acts more affectionately when she does. But Wangshu is smart and sensible, and also very lovable. Lu Chongqing said aloud. This daughter, although a little mischievous, was in his view still lively, cute, and likable. This year, the family should hold the spiritual root testing ceremony, right? Wangshu will be able to participate by then. Lu Miaoge said aloud. Places like Qingzhou Mountain would hold a spiritual root testing ceremony every year to test the spiritual roots of 5- or 6-year-old children. Naturally, Bai Lake Mountain would be no exception. Once we finish the busier things later, we'll pick a good day for the spiritual root testing ceremony. Lu Chongqing nodded and said. Although he was already aware of the spiritual roots of his children, the sense of ceremony was still necessary. Moreover, this year both his son Lu Qingxian and his daughter Lu Wangshu could have their spiritual roots tested. By then, the revelation of both having 4th-grade spiritual roots would also be a joyful and encouraging event for Bai Lake Mountain. After chatting with Lu Miaoge for a while about family and clan matters, the two headed to Bai Yun Peak, Chongqing Hall. Ling Zixiao was resting within the hall, and Lu Miaoge went into her cave dwelling to nourish Ling Zixio's body with Tai True water. Meanwhile, Lu Chongqing went into his own talisman room. System. Lu Chongqing silently called out. Name, Lu Chongqing. Identity, Master of Bai Lake Mountain. Cultivation level, Foundation Establishment 4th level. Lifespan, 41/279. Talent, 4th grade spiritual root, Gongjin body constitution, medium spiritual body, blood talisman spiritual body, high-grade spiritual body. Cultivation techniques, 100 refinements treasure body technique, 7 luminaries great freedom sword scripture, yin-yang harmony technique, 99 mystical talisman scripture, immortal beauty technique. Tai Shengshui Ju. Spells, 7 luminary sword light, 7 luminary sword shield, 7 luminary sword escape. Items, Lu family tree, melting spirit pill, spiritual eye spring, profound origin bead, book of malevolent curses and fates, luminous treasure tree, golden armor bean mother, life substituting talisman, coagulation crystal elixir. Magical treasures, 9 treasure jade rui, black dragon magical bead, 100 steeds towering pagoda lock. Skills. Alchemy, 2nd rank. Talisman making, 2nd rank. Puppetry, 2nd rank. Spirit slaughterer, 2nd rank. Wine brewing, 2nd rank. Spiritual pets. Mount Sumeru Tree King, 9 Netherhound, 6-winged golden silkworm, cold blue dark turtle, peach blossom goo, bloodline effect. Offspring spiritual root probability plus 25%, progeny plus 10%. Family, 226. The family. Lu Chongqing saw the system interface, where the previous offspring slot disappeared. But a new family tab appeared. His mind moved slightly, and he opened the family interface. Suddenly, the entire network of relations of his own family surfaced. At the top was himself. Then his wife and concubines. the children born to him and these wives and concubines. And then the children who had already set up their own families and had children of their own continued to be lined up below. To date, he himself, 7 wives, 2 dao companions, 43 concubines, 155 children, 10 daughters-in-law, and 8 grandchildren of the Xian generation totaled 226 people. So I can check information like before with my offspring, as long as they are from my Lu family? Lu Chongqing looked at the family web before him, his mind stirred, and he looked towards Lu Miaoge. Name, Lu Miaoge. Lifespan, 49/261. Talent, 5th grade spiritual root. Cultivation level, foundation establishment 1st level. Talent match, talisman making, 56%. Talent match. Lu Chongqing looked at this prompt, somewhat surprised. The next moment, he understood what this talent match was all about. It was a system suggestion for the best direction of growth for each person. Everyone's talent was different. Some people were suited for business management, some for alchemy and talisman making, others for artifact refining and formations. The system would give a suggestion, based on the current situation of the family members, to tell him the optimal direction for their growth. Chapter 640. Family Talent. True Spirit Immortality. Like Lu Miaoge, a talisman-making affinity of 56% suggests she is suited for the talisman path. Then, Lu Chongqing looked at the talents of the others. Name, Lu Miaoyun. Lifespan, 37/99. Talent, 7th grade spiritual root. Cultivation level, 6th level of chi refinement. Talent, management affinity, 42%. This talent can grow through acquired practice. In recent years, Yuner has been managing the family's household affairs, keeping the back courtyard well organized, which is why she has talent in management. Lu Chongqing muttered to himself as he looked at Lu Miaoyun's interface. That means Zishao is meant for formation. Lu Chongqing opened Ling Zixio's interface to take a look. Name, Ling Zixio. Lifespan, 42/69. Talent, 3rd grade spiritual root, dragon roar physique, top level spiritual body. Cultivation level, 1st grade of foundation establishment. Talent, formation affinity, 81%. Formation affinity, 81%. But Zishao's lifespan is only 69 years. Lu Chongqing paused as he saw Ling Zixio's lifespan and was inwardly startled. He knew that Ling Zixio's physical condition wasn't great. But he had been completely unaware that Ling Zixio's lifespan was so short. This lifespan was judged based on Ling Zixio's current condition. With their help and Lu Miaoge's treatment, once Ling Zixio's body recovers, having a foundation establishment cultivation, she should have a lifespan of at least 100-200 years. However, Ling Zixio's talent made him click his tongue in wonder. 3rd grade spiritual root. Top-level spiritual body. Were it not for the fact that the dragon roar physique is only beneficial for men and not suitable for women, with Ling Zixio's 3rd grade spiritual root, top-level spiritual body, and talent in formation path, her future would surely lead to core formation and becoming a significant figure. With this talent, I can completely tailor my teachings to Pingon, Xianji, and the rest, making arrangements based on their innate abilities. Lu Chongqing became distinctly aware of this talent's greatest help to his family. With a slight movement of his mental spirit, he turned to look at his son Lu Pingan's panel. Name, Lu Pingan. Lifespan, 22/91. Talent, 5th grade spiritual root. Cultivation level, 1st level of chi refinement. Talent, body refinement affinity, 44%. Body refinement affinity, 44%. Is Pingon really suited for body refinement? Is it genuinely a talent of his, or is it due to his many years of martial arts training? Lu Chongqing gazed at his son Lu Pingan's talent with a sense of surprise and skepticism. He had previously thought of passing on the 100 refinements treasure body art to this son. Now, seeing that Lu Pingan truly had a talent in this area made him feel very pleased. He then turned to look at his son Lu Xianji. Name, Lu Xianji. Lifespan, 21/99. Talent, 9th grade spiritual root. Cultivation level, 4th level of chi refinement. Talent, puppet affinity, 27%. The highest puppet affinity is only 27%? Seeing his son Lu Xianzi's talent, Lu Chongxing frowned slightly. He hadn't expected Lu Xianzi's talent to be so poor. But considering that his son Lu Xianji had been immersed in his teachings from a young age and had been taught for many years, yet still remained a first-grade low-level puppet master. To say he has put in effort, Lu Xianji has indeed tried hard and devoted a lot of thought to it. Ah well, there aren't that many geniuses after all, Lu Chongxing sighed slightly. He realized that sometimes, the gap between people is even wider than the gap between humans and baboons. If effort were enough, what would be the point of talent? After a general look at the other children's talents, aside from a few exceptions, most of the talents were quite ordinary, within 30%. However, with this insight into their talents, at least he now had a clear direction for development. Name, Lu Wangshu. Lifespan, April 89. Talent, 4th grade spiritual root, blood talisman spiritual body, superior spiritual body. Cultivation level, none. Talent, fishing affinity, 30%. Fishing? And even 30%. As Lu Chongxing looked at his daughter Lu Wangshu's talent, he was stunned and somewhat bewildered. As a blood talisman spiritual body, shouldn't she have an exceptional talent for talisman making? Yet, she possesses such an ability in fishing. But the next moment, he remembered that his daughter's blood talisman spiritual body had not yet awakened. Once her blood talisman spiritual body awakens, this area of talent is likely to substantially improve. After briefly reviewing his children's talents, Lu Chongxing turned his attention to the system space. Inside, besides the coagulation crystal elixirs, spirit pills, luminous treasure tree, Mount Sumeru Tree King, 100 Steeds Towering Pagoda Lock, and the spiritual eye spring that he had placed there was also a new jade scroll. Lu Family Genealogy. Description. Unique supreme treasure, bound to the host Lu Chongxing. Such a succinct description. Lu Chongxing raised an eyebrow at the Lu family genealogy. He then took out the Lu family genealogy. Immediately, a jade scroll appeared in his hand. Simultaneously, information related to the Lu family genealogy flowed into his mind, making him understand the effects of the genealogy. This. Lu Changsheng's eyes widened as he looked at the Lu family genealogy in his hands, full of surprise and disbelief. The Lu family genealogy had 3 functions. First, the genealogy can reveal whether a family member has died. Second, the genealogy can sense if a family member has betrayed the family. Third, to be named in the genealogy is to have true spirit immortality. Chapter 641. The First Guest Elder Offering. _1 Lu Chongxing looked at the family records of the Lu family in his hands, his expression one of surprise and joy. The 3 effects of this clan record are undeniably powerful. The first effect allows one to check the life and death status of family members. Most cultivation families prepare soul lamps or life-bound tokens for their members to indicate fortune and life or death. But even the cheapest life-bound jade token is worth thousands of spirit stones. It's manageable to prepare just a few. But to prepare one for every member of the family would amount to a huge sum of money. With the Lu family records, Lu Chongxing doesn't need any soul plates or soul lamps to know the fortune and life or death of family members. The second effect is that the family records will respond if a family member commits an act of harm or betrayal against the family. This effect can perfectly prevent the core of the family from having spies or traitors. After all, it's impossible to prevent spies from infiltrating or traitors from emerging in a large family. Especially now, as the family is just getting established and children are starting their own families, it's very easy for this to happen. With the Lu family records, it's possible to avoid this situation from the outset, ensuring internal stability and forestalling problems. As for the third effect, registered in the clan record, true spirit immortality, it is simply defying the heavens. As long as Lu Chongxing does not die and the family records are not destroyed, even if family members encounter an irreversible calamity outside and their spirit and body are both destroyed, a bit of their true spirit can still be retained through the family records. Once Lu Chongxing achieves immortal status, he can use the sacrificial ceremony with heaven and earth's treasures to resurrect the deceased. However, such a thing as resurrecting the dead, akin to changing heaven and earth, reversing the universe, has extremely stringent requirements, with achieving immortality being only the first step. So for now, this effect of resurrecting the dead doesn't need to be considered by Lu Chongxing. But the existence of this effect has given Lu Chongxing some peace of mind. Having cultivated for so many years, He was all too aware that even with the system by his side, he could not achieve perfection on the path to immortality. His mortal wives and children at home, he simply couldn't take care of. Even many of his wives and children with spiritual roots, he couldn't look after properly. In the future, many of his wives and children will gradually leave him, leaving regrets on his path to immortality. Now, with these Lu family records, at least he has some solace. When he reaches a certain level of cultivation and achieves immortality, he'd be able to remedy these regrets and resurrect those he can't bear to part with. This is also one of my motivations for cultivating, he murmured. Lu Chongqing looked at the clan record in his hands, let out a soft chuckle, and put away the Lu family records. According to customary practice, records like the family records would be housed in the ancestral hall. But considering he was the first entry in the family records, if these were enshrined in the ancestral hall, wouldn't that be oddly self-serving? Perhaps I should enshrine the 3 purities in the ancestral hall instead. That might just attract some serendipitous fate from the unfathomable universe, he thought. Lu Chongqing stroked his chin. After these thoughts, he broke into a grin, cast aside these matters, and walked out of the talisman room to the main hall to visit Lu Miaoge and Ling Zixiao. Once Lu Miaoge had finished treating Ling Zixiao, Lu Chongqing chatted with the 2 women about family affairs and made some preliminary arrangements. Nowadays, there were quite a few children in the family. There were also many of age with spiritual roots. With the recently acquired family features, he could see his children's abilities. Thus, Lu Chongqing planned to get education started herein by Lake Mountain. First setting up a school to teach knowledge of formations, alchemy, talisman making, puppets, wine brewing, farming, medical cuisine, spirit slaughterer, business management, and so on. Later, based on the children's interests and talents, he would teach them according to their aptitude and make arrangements. As for artifact refining, beast taming, goo, poisonous insects, spirit detection, and others, Lu Chongqing and Ling Zixiao could also obtain some relevant inheritances. If the children were interested, they could do some self-study. If they could achieve something on their own, that would be best. If not, they could just view it as a hobby. Once their own capabilities were sufficient, they would eventually fill in all aspects of cultivation, so that every child could combine their interests and talents, avoiding detours. After discussing these broad ideas with the women, Lu Chongqing took Ling Zixiao, Lu Miaoge, and several children to Bai Shui Lake for a leisurely visit, to relax. At that time, many fishermen were fishing in Bai Shui Lake. Xiao Shiyu, accompanied by her daughter Lu Wangshu, was fishing with a face full of joy. Whenever Lu Wangshu caught a fish, Xiao Shiyu would burst into encouragement and joy as if she were just a child. It seems that Fairy Shiyu is Lu Wangshu's mother, Ling Zixiao mused to herself upon seeing this scene. She had suspected as much from the first glance she took at Xiao Shiyu, noticing a resemblance to Lu Wangshu, and now this scene almost certainly confirmed it. Upon this realization, she just stole a glance at Lu Chongqing. Curiosity filled her as she wondered how many women like Xiao Shiyu Lu Chongqing had outside. Shiyu. After spending half an hour playing around, Lu Chongqing secretly communicated with Xiao Shiyu, mentioning the get-together with Hong Yi, Han Lin, Zhao Qingqing, and the others. Little Wangshu, Mommy has something to take care of, I'll come to play with you later, Xiao Shiyu said to Lu Wangshu, somewhat reluctantly letting go. Mommy don't worry, it'll be good, Lu Wangshu, sitting cross-legged on the cold blue dark turtle, fishing rod in hand, as absorbed in fishing as ever, did not seem the least bit reluctant as she sweetly reassured Xiao Shiyu and continued with her fishing. Shortly after, Xiao Shiyu and Lu Chongqing made their way to the main reception hall of Biyun Villa. Before long, all 6 immortal seedlings that had originally come from Rui Prefecture, except for Li Feiyu, gathered once again. Compared to the assemblage a decade ago at the Gathering of Immortals Tower in Rui Prefecture, the 5 of them had all changed significantly. Chapter 642. The First Guest Elder Offering. 10 years ago, Xiao Xia was at the 9th level energy refinement stage. Now, she has broken through to foundation establishment, becoming a core disciple of the Qingyun sect. 10 years ago, Lu Chongqing was merely a son-in-law to the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain. Now, he has broken through to foundation establishment, becoming a mountain master himself. In 10 years' time, Hong Yi advanced from the heir to the Marquis of Rui to the Marquis himself, controlling Rui Prefecture. Han Lin ascended from a lower-grade artifact refiner to an upper-grade one. Because of her vague body, Zhao Qingqing transitioned from being a pharmacist to a spirit plant master. Now, she has become a second-rank spiritual plant master. My friends, if my memory serves me right, it has been exactly 23 years since we first met. Lu Chongqing said, looking at the 5 people before him. Among the 5, he, Xiao Xia, and Zhao Qingqing all maintained their youthful appearance, with only changes in their demeanor. But for Hong Yi and Han Lin, both their appearances and auras had gone through significant changes. Especially Hong Yi, wearing a purple gold crown and brocade robe, sporting a long beard, his features bearing a mature and dignified air.
Indeed, exactly 23 years.
Hong Yi stroked his beard and nodded in agreement. His voice was filled with sentiment. Thinking back to their initial meeting, he was proud and conceited because of his noble birth, looking down on others. But now, among the 5 of them, he was the least accomplished. His position as the Marquis of Rui was maintained thanks to his relationship with Lu Chongqing. Otherwise, it would have been extremely difficult for him to become the heir and succeed the Marquis of Rui's position back then. It's been 23 years before we knew it. It's a pity that Li Daoist isn't here. Over these 20 years, the most splendid tales are still those of Lu Daoist and Hong Daoist. The 5 of them looked at each other and laughed, feeling nostalgic for the swift passage of time, engaging in idle chatter and reminiscing about old times. Brother Hong, I plan to let Xuanzhen stay at home and study calmly for the next few years. If you're willing, you can let Xuanji stay at by Lake Mountain temporarily. Upon hearing Hong Yi mention his son, Hong Xuanji, Lu Chongqing spoke up. Hong Xuanji was Hong Yi's most cherished son, upon whom he placed great hopes. He prepared to send him to the Qingyun sect in 2 years' time, when they would be recruiting disciples, to participate in the immortal sex assessment. Now that Hong Yi was discussing his son's arrangements, Lu Chongqing was also willing to help take care of him. After all, Hong Yi had helped him a lot over the past 20 years, and it was only right for him to return the favor. In that case, I'll trouble you with Xuanji, brother Lu. Hong Yi, upon hearing this, immediately showed delight and thanked him with a bow. If his son could cultivate at by Lake Mountain, it would surely be better than doing so in the Rui Prefecture or a small marketplace. Furthermore, he knew that Lu Chongqing was recruiting spiritual farmers and fishermen with spiritual roots, teaching them the skills of spiritual plant cultivation, talisman making, and puppetry. Thus, he was more than happy to let his son stay here and develop a good relationship with Lu Changsheng's children. If his son did not pass the Qingyun sect assessment in 2 years, he could still mingle with the Lu family. That way, this son's future achievements were likely to surpass his own.
Haha, Brother Hong, you are too polite.
Lu Chongqing laughed and nodded. Daoist Lu, didn't you say you would show us your family's spiritual medicine garden? Since we have time now, why don't we take a look? And it would be nice to stroll around by Lake Mountain while we're at it. At that moment, Zhao Qingqing voiced her suggestion. Previously, while chatting at the Qingyun sect, Lu Chongqing had expressed hope for her to take a look at his family's spiritual medicine valley and provide some planting advice. She brought over many spirit plant seeds as gifts to celebrate the occasion on this visit. But specific recommendations and planting would require a look at the situation for a final verdict. In that case, Fairy Shi Yu, Brother Hong, Daoist Han, shall we all take a stroll together? Lu Chongqing suggested cheerily upon hearing her proposal. Haha, sure. I'd like to admire the beauty of by Lake Mountain too. The group nodded in agreement. Immediately thereafter, Lu Chongqing took them on a tour around by Lake Mountain, explaining the features, before arriving at Lingcue Cliff. Mountain Master. Greetings to the Mountain Master. Dad, Uncle Hong, Uncle Han, Aunt Xiao, Aunt Zhao. Lingcue Cliff was inhabited by some spiritual farmers from other families left by the Yu family. Lu Pingon was also assigned by Lu Chongqing to guard the spiritual medicine garden at Lingcue Cliff. We have come to take a look. Lu Chongqing nodded and spoke. The spiritual medicine garden still looked the same as before. It had only some common spirit plants and unripe spiritual medicines. Daoist Zhao, this is the Lingcue Cliff of Mai by Lake Mountain. This area is primarily used for spirit fields, and this part is the medicine garden. Lu Chongqing led the group through Lingcue Cliff, casually conversing and explaining. As a second-ranked talisman master, Daoist Lu, You will likely focus on developing in this area in the future. Based on the spirit vein and soil conditions of By Lake Mountain, I suggest planting some water cloud bamboo. As for the second-rank medicine fields, you could consider transforming dragon ginseng, pale-face flower, stone dragon root. These spiritual medicines are quite suitable for cultivation, and once they reach a certain age, they can be sold for a considerable value. Zhao Qingqing observed the spirit fields, soil, and spiritual energy conditions, speaking out loud. In her words, she also moved aside, applying techniques to test the soil composition and the concentration of spiritual energy in the fields. Ordinary spiritual farmers only need to learn one of the techniques such as minor cloud rain technique, gungjin technique, decomposition technique, quickening technique, spring wind turns to rain technique, and so on. But to become a spiritual plant master, one must be proficient in multiple techniques. And to advance from a spiritual plant master to a spiritual plant master, one not only needs to master a variety of techniques but also understand and control the conditions of various spirit plants and spiritual medicines. Water cloud bamboo. Lu Chongqing noted, nodding. He was aware that this was a type of spiritual bamboo, suitable for making talisman paper. As for transforming dragon ginseng, pale-face flower, and stone dragon root, they were all materials for the foundation establishment elixir and youth-preserving elixir, each very valuable. Chapter 643. The First Guest Elder Offering. A few people were strolling around Lingcue Cliff, and Zhao Qingqing gave many suggestions. She also told Lu Chongqing about the cultivation methods of several spirit plants and what to pay attention to. I didn't expect the path of spirit plant cultivation to have so many intricacies. It is truly an eye-opener. Hong Yi, who was standing by, exclaimed with emotion. In his Rui Marquis mansion, there were also dozens of acres of spiritual fields. But these were the most ordinary spiritual fields, only suitable for cultivating first-grade inferior products, not even the average spirit rice. Now that he heard about the intricate knowledge involved, he was filled with emotion. Indeed, each of the 100 arts of cultivation is broad and profound, Lu Chongqing nodded and said. Through the system, he clearly understood the profoundness of each of the 100 arts of cultivation. After they finished their stroll, Lu Chongqing turned to Zhao Qingqing and said, Daoist Zhao, would you be interested in serving as a guest elder at my By Lake Mountain? A guest elder? Zhao Qingqing paused upon hearing this, her face showing contemplation. The Qingyun sect did not forbid its disciples from earning extra money outside. After all, money, companions, laws, and the earth itself, cultivation is all about burning money. The Qingyun sect could not support all the disciples. Disciples like them had to find their own ways to earn resources for cultivation. However, they could not casually agree to serve as guest priests without considering whether it will bring them trouble. Daoist Zhao, as you know, the establishment of my family was quite rushed, and we are not particularly good at the art of spirit plant cultivation. Therefore, if you are willing, you could come to By Lake Mountain to serve as a guest elder. Whenever you have time, just come and check on the spirit plants, the condition of the spiritual medicine, or perhaps offer some guidance and teach some knowledge about spirit plant cultivation. Said Lu Chongqing in this manner. By Lake Mountain currently had many spirit plant cultivators, but they were all first grade. If they could invite Zhao Qingqing, a second-rank spiritual plant master, it would be of great help to the cultivation of spirit plants at By Lake Mountain. Moreover, when he planted the luminous treasure tree in the future, having Zhao Qingqing, a spiritual plant master, would also be a great help. This is possible, but I don't have much time. I can only serve as a guest priest and visit a few times a year, Zhao Qingqing said. As a disciple of the Qingyun sect's medicinal garden, she also had many affairs of her own and could not often go out. That is already sufficient, Lu Chongqing nodded and said with a smile. He then invited Zhao Qingqing to serve as an honorary guest elder at By Lake Mountain for a yearly salary of 1,200 spirit stones. She would need to visit 4 times a year to provide advice and solutions for By Lake Mountain spirit plants and spiritual medicine, and to teach and guide the Lu family disciples in the area of spirit plant cultivation. Afterwards, Lu Chongqing turned to Han Lin, asking him if he was interested in serving as a guest elder at his By Lake Mountain. Speaking of spirit plant cultivators, his family had some. But they had no artifact refiners at all. I'll pass. I'm already busy in the Qingyun sect, and besides, artifact refining is very time-consuming, And teaching it is also quite time-consuming, Hanlin said, shaking his head. As an artifact refiner, unlike Zhao Qingqing, he couldn't just come down the mountain for a few days. Artifact refining requires on-the-spot teaching, which is very cumbersome and time-consuming. Moreover, as an artifact refiner, his income from Qingyun's sect was quite good. Alright, if I have such problems in the future, or need magic artifacts, I might trouble Daoist Han even more, Lu Chongqing didn't mind and said with a laugh. Of course, that's no problem, Han Lin replied. Later, Lu Chongqing invited them to stay a few more days at Bai Lake Mountain, and when they left, he gave them small parting gifts. Xiao Xia also returned to Qingyun's sect with Zhao Qingqing and Han Lin. She was preparing to return and request her master, Yun Wanshang, to come and preside over Bai Lake Mountain. At the same time, using the Qingyun token, she would invite a second-rank array master from Qingyun's sect for Lu Chongqing. Husband, this is the current expenditure and rough income of the family. Please take a look. That day, Lu Miaoyun came to Lu Chongqing with a ledger in hand for his review. It recorded all the current expenses of Bai Lake Mountain and the rough estimate of its income. The difference between income and expenses is this much? Lu Chongqing looked at the ledger in surprise. But after looking through it, he immediately understood why there was such a significant disparity. Previously on Qingzhou Mountain, the allowance for his wives and concubines was quite modest. Only concubines with a spiritual root were given 10 spirit stones. As for maids, they were only given 2 spirit stones. Now, not only had all the maids been elevated to the status of concubine, but their treatment had been uniformly improved as well. Furthermore, as the number of children in the family increased and they began cultivation, each would receive 10 spirit stones and a bottle of yellow dragon elixir every month. As cultivation levels improved, these benefits were also being enhanced. There were also the expenses of providing spirit rice to his secular children, among others. Each of these seemed minor by themselves, but when accumulated, they added up to no small sum. And the entire family's income currently depended solely on the foundational earnings of Bai Lake Mountain. Bai Lake Mountain originally had a considerable income. Otherwise, the Yu family wouldn't have been able to raise so many foundation establishment cultivators and clanspeople. But currently, due to staffing issues, the external industries had halted operations. During the establishment ceremony of the family, Lu Chongqing had also sold off many assets. So now, the income of Bai Lake Mountain was limited to rent, and the industries of spirit rice and spirit fish. Yuner, you don't have to worry about the finances for now. You continue to recruit spiritual farmers, fishermen, and apprentices. Pay close attention to the spiritual fields, jade marrow rice, and azure water rice. The core cultivation methods for these were originally controlled by the Yu family. Now these spiritual farmers might be inexperienced and affect the harvest. The same goes for the breeding of spirit fish. Lu Chongqing voiced these instructions. He presently had enough spirit stones to sustain the Lu family's losses for several decades. But running at a loss was not a sustainable strategy, relying solely on oneself to support the family. After all, he also needed to spend money. Thus, it was imperative for the family to operate efficiently, achieving a balance between income and expenses, and gradually move towards profitability. In Lu Changsheng's view, the problem still lay with manpower. As long as there was sufficient manpower, he could easily proceed with large-scale production of basic puppets and liquor factories. Then, by finding partners for consignment sales and opening up channels, he could revitalize the shops and industries under Bai Lake Mountain. All right, husband. Lu Miaoyun nodded in response to his words. By the way, Yuner. Lu Chongqing continued, speaking about the instruction at the school. He tasked her with organizing and arranging these matters. He indicated that not only the children in the family but also the concubines with spiritual roots could come to learn about this aspect. After arranging these matters, Lu Chongqing went to Chongqing Hall to quietly refine the 9 treasured jade rui within his chest bone. His recent encounter with Kai Yun True Immortal at Qingyun's sect had given him a wake-up call. He felt that relying solely on the jade pendant given by the Core Formation Junior was not necessarily enough to conceal others' prying eyes. Therefore, he thought of quickly integrating this heaven-sent spiritual treasure into his life-bound treasured bone. As soon as the life-bound treasured bone was formed and he acquired the 9 great divine abilities, he would be able to use the 7th divine ability, Sealing Divine Light, to seal his cultivation level and aura, rendering himself undetectable and obscuring his true capabilities from others. Moreover, the fifth divine ability of the 9-treasure Jade Rui, the healing divine light, would surely help with Ling Zixio's injuries. And regarding the matter of Xiaoho money, he also needed to be prepared. Once the life-bound treasured bone was formed and the 9 great divine abilities were his power would rise to an entirely new level. Then she took out 2 third-rank talismans from her storage ring to give to Xiaofan for protection. After all, Patriarch Xiaoho Wuwa of the Xiaoho family was still alive. If this Xiaoho patriarch targeted by Lake Mountain for revenge, there might be considerable danger. Naturally, she wanted to give her disciple some life-saving treasures. "Thank you, Master." Xiaofan bowed with her hands clasped together. "Your trip to Bai Lake Mountain is considered an outside mission, so don't reveal your whereabouts to others. Also, after the new record chief arrives at the Green River Marketplace, then proceed to Bai Lake Mountain." Yun Wanshang continued. "Yes, Master." Xiaofan nodded in agreement. She then took out a token from her storage bag. "Master, I have a good friend named Hanli who helped me on the way to Jiuxiao Immortal City. True Immortal Qiyun granted him a Qingyun token. I would like to use this Qingyun token to request a second-rank array master from the sect to help set up a great formation at Bai Lake Mountain." Xiaofan took out the Qingyun token that was in Lu Changsheng's possession and spoke up. "This loose cultivator Han Li is Lu Changsheng, isn't he?" Yun Wanshang looked at the token and spoke directly. She had previously guessed that the loose cultivator Han Li who saved her senior disciple was Lu Changsheng. Now, seeing this Qingyun token, she was almost certain.
"I knew I couldn't hide it from Master."
Xiaoxia's face showed a somewhat mischievous smile. She immediately realized that her master had seen through Lu Changsheng's disguise and guessed many things correctly. This made her hesitate, uncertain if her master was aware that she had given birth to Lu Wangshu. "Still playing these little tricks in front of your master." Yun Wanshang's face showed a faint smile. Thinking of her senior disciple Chu Qingyi, she looked at Xiaofan and continued, "Your senior sister is still recovering, conditioning herself to prepare for core formation. Thus, don't let Qingyi know about this loose cultivator Han Li's matter." Yun Wanshang said so.
"Don't let my senior sister know?"
Xiaofan was surprised, not understanding the meaning behind these words. She couldn't help but speculate if her senior sister had developed some connection with Lu Changsheng. Although she did not have much interaction with her senior sister, she knew that she was dedicated to the sword, with a clarity in her sword heart. Wait, the sword. In that moment, Xiaoxia's heart vaguely realized something.
She bowed to Yun Wanshang and said, "Master, I understand.
Take my token to Master Mo, and ask him to go to Bai Lake Mountain to set up the formation." Yun Wanshang took out a token and spoke to Xiaoxian.
"Yes, Master."
Xiaoxian nodded in response. She knew Master Mo was a second-tier top-level array master. His prowess in formations was exquisite, having set up great formations for many marketplaces of Qingyun sect. Bai Lake Mountain. Inside the retreat of Chongqing Hall. Phew! Lu Chongqing opened his eyes and exhaled gently. He placed his palm in front of his chest and closed his eyes to feel. To completely refine the 9-treasure Jade Rui into my life-bound treasured bone, I'd need at least another 2 to 3 years. Lu Chongqing pondered this progress, lightly sighing, knowing that such matters could not be rushed. He didn't seal himself completely in retreat but left the hall to check on the state of his worldly children. All these children would stay on by Lake Mountain for a while. Chapter 645, Yun Wanshang. Don't let your senior sister know about Hanli. Lu Chongqing visited his children, and according to their talents, he offered them some simple guidance for the future. Now, the Lu family could also be completely divided into the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family and Rui Prefecture Lu family. Regarding the secular side, now that Lu Pingon is at Bai Lake Mountain, Lu Wuyu is the eldest son in the secular world. He directly appointed his son Lu Wuyu as the family head.
As for the management of Lu Wei's household, having served as a county magistrate for many years, his handling of people and matters was quite good in every aspect.
If there really was something to say, it would be that his personality was somewhat indecisive and lacked boldness. But just being the family head of the secular Lu family, He doesn't need to possess any great boldness. Wu Yu, from now on, you will be in charge of the Rui Prefecture side. If you have any matters, you can ask your Uncle Hong for advice, or you can write to Bai Lake Mountain, Lu Chongqing said to Lu Wu Yu. This son had a quiet personality when he was young. When others were playing and making noise, he preferred to read books alone. Initially, Lu Chongqing wondered if this son would become a bookworm. Yes, father. Lu Wu Yu, hearing this, nodded with a somewhat solemn face. He knew that after this separation, his father would probably seldom come to Rui Prefecture. This is your father's arrangement of some family rules and regulations. You can take a look at it. Lu Chongqing took out a jade scroll and continued to say. This was the system of rewards and punishments for the Lu family that he had previously discussed with Lu Miaoyun and Ling Zixiao. All right, father. Lu Wu Yu received the jade scroll and respectfully responded. You agree without even looking, just yes, yes, yes. If you have any opinions after reading, come directly to your father. Lu Chongqing, seeing his son's manner, smacked him on the head and spoke irritation. He knew that given the limited time they spent together and his own status as a foundation establishment cultivator, many of his children viewed him with great awe and revered him. Therefore, whatever he said, his children would simply listen. I will look now, father. Lu Wu Yu scratched his head and smiled as he recalled the time he spent with his father in his youth, and then he began to read the contents of the jade scroll. Father, I believe that there will definitely be arrogant individuals among the Lu family disciples, and there are already some signs of this. In my opinion, we must establish a family head to supervise and restrain the Lu family disciples. Also regarding financial matters, I think we shouldn't rely entirely on Blue Lake Mountain. Considering our family's relationship with Uncle Hong and your reputation, father, we can totally engage in commerce and be self-sufficient. After reading, Lu Wu Yu expressed his opinions and suggestions. During his years in the secular world, thanks to his relationship with Hong Yi, he had served as a county magistrate. He knew that if things continued as they were, there would inevitably be many arrogant and wasteful youngsters. Moreover, if the secular Lu family relied too heavily on the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family, the situation would be even worse. Additionally, with many younger brothers and sisters in the family now, it was certain that issues such as family partitioning and branching off would arise in the future. Since that is the case, the family can establish a family head to monitor the family etiquette, rules and regulations, and the enforcement powers will be held in your hands as the family head. You can also form an enforcement team to implement laws, impose punishments, and as for finances, commerce, fiscal matters, you take care of it. If there is a family partition, the family head will also have unified control. Lu Chongqing, after pondering for a moment, spoke out. The situation of children partitioning the family was certainly inevitable. Not to mention the Lu residence in Rui Prefecture had already been expanded once. As these children gradually start their own families, the Rui Prefecture Lu residence simply would not have enough space, and family partitioning would inevitably occur. Lu Chongqing had no intention of forcing all these children to live together. He was willing to let them form multiple branches. However, regarding spirit rice, you all still need to practice martial arts daily, and that is indispensable. So as long as you can earn enough for daily expenses, things like spirit rice, martial arts training, and rewards for childbirth will all still be taken care of by Blue Lake Mountain, Lu Chongqing said aloud. He would naturally not reduce the costs of his children's martial arts training and childbirth expenses. After all, with spirit rice and spiritual meals, his children could make rapid progress in the martial Tao. Moreover, eating more spirit rice, even if the parents were both ordinary people, would increase the likelihood of their offspring having a spiritual root compared to normal circumstances. Lu Wu Yu nodded and continued to add some points. After the father and son finished discussing matters, Lu Chongqing looked at Lu Wu Yu and the other children, and for a moment, he didn't know what else to say. Having many children and spending less time with them eventually led to a lack of common topics. Moreover, as the children grew up, the relaxed atmosphere of their youth was missing. Half a month later, in the Chongqing Hall, inside the talisman room, Lu Chongqing was busy drawing talismans. Just then, a system prompt sounded in Lu Chongqing's mind. Congratulations to the host for having 20 offspring breakthrough to martial Tao innate, granting a bloodline effect. Probability of producing offspring increased by 5%, and a chance to draw a prize. There's a reward for 20 as well, Lu Chongqing, who was making talismans, heard this system prompt and a joyful smile appeared on his face. After the reward for the first 10 children breaking through to martial Dao innate, he had been eagerly anticipating how many more of his children would achieve this. After all, unlike cultivation that requires initiating the flow of qi, the martial Dao does not have the restriction of needing a spiritual root. As long as he kept spending money, all his children could potentially achieve martial Dao innate. He had presumed that it wouldn't just be a reward for 10 children with a single distribution of child money. Now that he saw a reward for 20 children with a share, it was a pleasant surprise for him.
System, time for the draw.
Lu Chongqing did not hesitate and mentally commanded. He was ready to see what he would get this time. Suddenly, a light red roulette wheel with a golden glow emerged and began to spin for the draw. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining a magical treasure. Oceanic bead. The reward has been sent to the system space. The host can check it at any time. Chapter 646. Yun Wanshang. Don't let your senior sister know about Hanli. The golden light paused at the magical treasures category. Immediately, a string of azure treasure beads emerged from the big wheel, accompanied by a system notification sound. Magical treasure? Oceanic bead? Lu Chongqing looked at the magical treasure before him, his brows slightly furrowed. He still had one magical treasure lying unused in his system space, and now he was getting another one for himself. Well, if it's magical treasures, then that's what they are. Once Pingon and the rest increase their cultivation level, and if they can master the 100 refinements treasure body art, these magical treasures can gradually come into play. Moreover, once my 9 treasure jade rui fuses with my life-bound treasured bone, it will no longer be able to aid in cultivation. Currently, the black dragon magical bead and the magical treasure embryo are likely to become obsolete after my 100 refinements treasure body art breaks through to the 6th level, so it's fine to get a few magical treasures as backups now, Lu Chongqing thought to himself. Then he looked towards the system space to check out what kind of magical treasure this oceanic bead was. Magic artifact, oceanic bead. Grade: superior magical treasure. Description: crafted from 36 legacy oceanic beads, there are 36 beads in total. Individually, they serve as standard magic artifacts, but when all 36 are gathered, they form a superior magical treasure, capable of evolving into the oceanic shockwave formation. Is it actually a combination artifact? A formation path artifact? Lu Changsheng's eyes brightened with surprise and delight at the introduction of the oceanic bead. In the cultivation world, there are magic artifacts known as combination artifacts, which can be split into multiple artifacts. In such cases, even if one's strength is not sufficient, one can divide the artifact to utilize a portion of its power. And this oceanic bead is not only a combination magical treasure but also a formation path artifact, capable of evolving into the oceanic shockwave formation. Extract. Lu Chongqing was very interested in this magical treasure and did not leave it to gather dust in system space. He directly extracted it for inspection. Instantly, a string of 36 beads, each the size of a baby's fist, crystal clear and flowing with deep blue luminescence, appeared. How heavy! Lu Chongqing held the string of oceanic beads, and his hands immediately felt the weight. If it weren't for his body refinement strength, he would have felt unable to lift them. Through the system's detailed introduction of the oceanic bead, delight immediately showed in Lu Changsheng's eyes. If used as a complete set, the oceanic bead would evolve into the oceanic shockwave formation. Used individually, the method was simple and crude. Directly use them to hit people. The oceanic bead contained the power of heavy water, not only incredibly heavy but also capable of discharging brilliance that could stun people's divine sense and senses. Thus, ordinary cultivators facing an incoming oceanic bead, if careless, could perish both body and cultivation path. But what truly delighted Lu Chongqing was not the power or effects of the magical treasure. Through the system's introduction, he knew that the original materials for the oceanic bead came from the Jiaran race. Such a treasure bead had the effect of nurturing water veins and was beneficial for aquatic beings. Even if the oceanic bead isn't used as a magical treasure, just its ability to nurture water veins in aquatic beings makes it a good treasure for me. Lu Changsheng's face was filled with delight. The main income of Bai Lake Mountain at present came from aquaculture, the fish and shrimp inn by Shui Lake. And beneath by Shui Lake, there was a top-tier first-grade spirit vein. This oceanic bead, able to nurture water veins and aquatic beings, suggested that it could nourish the spirit vein of Baishui Lake and the spirit fish and shrimp within the lake, such as the red-blooded carp and the bi-blooded carp. Perhaps it could even promote this top-tier first-grade spirit vein to a second-grade spiritual vein. Besides, once Xiao has recovered, and in the future breaks through to core formation, this oceanic bead can also serve as her magical treasure. Sister Miaoga practices the water of virtue technique, and this oceanic bead seems quite suitable for her too. Forget it, let's talk about the ownership of magical treasures later. For now, I'll use the oceanic bead to nurture the water veins, Lu Chongqing murmured to himself, planning to discuss the ownership of the magical treasure later. However, if I want to nurture the water veins, I can't just place it in by Shui Lake arbitrarily. If someone fishes it out, then it'll be at a great loss. Lu Chongqing remembered the time when his son, Lu Qingshan, went to dig up his golden armor bean mother. He thought it was better to wait for Ling Zixiao to recover a bit before using the oceanic bead to set up a formation in by Shui Lake to nurture the water veins. Now, having just returned and quickly arranged her affairs, she immediately went into closed-door cultivation, which was very strange. Yes, master, you can cultivate in peace. I will handle the affairs of the peak properly, Meng Xiaochan replied deferentially, pursing her lips slightly. Nangong merely nodded her head and then transformed into a divine rainbow, moving to her own cultivation chamber, where she gently brushed her lower abdomen with a complicated look in her eyes. By Lake Mountain. Talismans are spells stored within spirit talismans using symbol patterns expressed through spiritual ink, carried by talisman paper. If each talisman is treated as a whole, then each symbol, each stroke within it is. For instance, this most basic cleansing talisman, this part of the symbol structure controls the direction of spiritual power, this part maintains the flow of spiritual power, this part is the spell's structure. At Biyun Villa, in the Talisman Hall, Lu Chongqing is teaching his wives, concubines, and children about talismans. Now that he can see the talents of his family, he naturally arranges training based on simple nurturing, interest, and individual aptitude. As long as the first batch of skilled workers in the family are on the right track, he won't have to worry about the family's future. Just then, Lu Changsheng's mental spirit stirred. He took out a yin-yang sensing talisman, and knew that Xiaofan had arrived. He immediately let his concubines and children study on their own, having Lu Miaoyun come to provide additional knowledge about spirit plants. Shi Yu Taoist. Lu Chongqing, arriving at the mountain gate, saw not only Xiaofan, but also a robust-looking elder with sparkling eyes and two young men wearing Qingyun's sect disciples' attire. He immediately guessed that this elder and the two young men were array masters from the Qingyun sect. Lu Taoist, this is Mo Shoren from our Qingyun sect, Master Mo, a top-level array master. These two are disciples of Master Mo, coming over to set up a great formation for by Lake Mountain. Upon seeing Lu Chongqing, Xiaofan immediately informed him about the situation and identities of this Master Mo, second-tier top-level array master. Hearing this, Lu Chongqing instantly understood that his status and identity were not simple. He immediately unlocked the Mountain Gate Grand Formation and politely bowed, saying, "I have seen Master Mo and two Taoist friends, please come in." Lu Taoist is too kind. My mission here is commanded to rearrange the great formation for your by Lake Mountain. I wonder what sort of requirements Lu Taoist has for the formation? Despite usually being an arrogant character, Master Mo appeared quite courteous. After all, his visit was not only requested by Lu Chongqing utilizing a Qingyun command. Xiaofan, Yun Wanshang, and Lu Chongqing also evidently had a significant relationship. About the formation, I only have a rough idea and don't understand much. However, my wife is an array master. I will let her come and discuss the details with you. Lu Chongqing welcomed them to the villa's main hall, served tea, and then spoke. Having heard of the renown of my wife, Master Mo, that's indeed perfect, Master Mo responded cheerily. He had heard that by Lake Mountain had a top-level formation master. Naturally, he was willing to exchange ideas with a professional. Otherwise, discussing with someone who does not understand formations can be quite headache-inducing. Especially when that person also has a complex relationship with the sect. Master Mo, please wait a moment, Lu Chongqing said politely. He then went to Chongqing Hall and told Ling Zixiao, who was studying talisman formations. Xiao, the array master from the Qingyun sect, has arrived. Chapter 648. Repairing the Family Great Formation. Beast Taming Su Family. They've arrived so quickly. I'll go take a look. Ling Zixiao, upon hearing the words, put down the jade scroll in her hand and said with a smile. Zixiao, in addition to setting up a formation on the peak of Baiyun Peak, I also plan to set up a formation beneath Baishui Lake. Lu Chongxing stated his needs in advance. He also took out the oceanic bead, telling Ling Zixiao that this bead had the effect of nourishing water channels and aquatic creatures. He planned to place this oceanic bead under the spirit vein of Baishui Lake. The oceanic bead, 36 in total, each comparable to a near magical treasure. Ling Zixiao looked at the oceanic bead before her with a hint of surprise in her beautiful eyes. You must know that magical treasures are extremely precious, and few people can create them. Many nascent soul immortals don't even have multiple magical treasures. Lu Chongxing casually took out a combination of extremely rare magical treasures to nourish the water channels. She couldn't help feeling astounded by Lu Chongxing's mystery, and suspected that he had inherited the full legacy of a nascent soul true lord. That's right, these treasures were made from the oceanic pearls left by the Jiren of the sea, each comparable to a near magical treasure with the effect of nourishing water channels. If it's continuously nourished, the first-grade top-notch spirit vein under Baishui Lake might even have the chance to upgrade to a second-grade spirit vein. Lu Chongxing chuckled lightly and spoke thus. My dear, the oceanic bead is of significant importance. Although the array master from Qingyun sect has been requested through the Qingyun order, he cannot be fully trusted. However, since there are 36 oceanic beads, one can be taken out to serve as the foundation of the formation at Baishui Lake. In this way, I can later use this formation base as the key node of Baishui Lake, overlaying formations within formations. If the spirit vein formation of Baishui Lake upgrades to second rank, this will also enhance the overall great formation. Ling Zixiao looked at the oceanic bead before her, thought for a moment, and then expressed her thoughts. Good, Zixiao, hold on to these oceanic beads for now, and you can arrange as you see fit later on. Lu Chongxing, upon hearing this, nodded and handed over the oceanic bead to Ling Zixiao. Since the oceanic bead was somewhat heavy, he asked Ling Zixiao to be careful with it. Ling Zixiao felt warmth in her heart seeing Lu Chongxing entrust her with such precious magical treasures so easily and with such concern that she should be careful, and she nodded with a smile in her eyes, replying, Okay. The two walked out of Chongxing Hall and entered the main hall of Biyun Villa. Zixiao, this is Mo Shoren from Qingyun sect, Master Mo. Master Mo, this is my partner, Ling Zixiao. Lu Chongxing brought Ling Zixiao to the hall and introduced them. Master Mo, pleasure to meet you. Ling Zixiao, dressed in a blue gown, with a pale and elegantly beautiful face, looked at Master Mo before her and said with a graceful smile. Hee, it's a pleasure to meet you, Taoist Ling. I wonder what requirements and thoughts you have regarding the family's great formation. Master Mo looked at Ling Zixiao and spoke with a chuckle. He could tell from her complexion that Ling Zixiao was not in good health. Knowing her condition, undertaking the enormous task of setting up a family great formation was indeed too much. Otherwise, there would be no need to expend a Qingyun order and call upon the goodwill of Qingyun sect to get him to take action personally. Regarding the Bai Lake Mountain Great Formation, there is no need to set it up from scratch. The workload would be just too great, requiring at least several years to complete. So my thought is to build upon the existing Blue Water Azure Sky Great Formation, Ling Zixiao said with a smile. The Yu family's Blue Water Azure Sky Great Formation, as a second-rank high-grade Great Formation, was already considered quite good. After all, it's not that the higher the rank of a family's Great Formation, the better. One must also consider daily spiritual energy consumption, the consumption when the formation is operating at full power, the coverage, and other factors. If that is the case, it would be most ideal. Taoist Ling, after I examine the spirit vein and the status of the great formation on Bai Lake Mountain, we'll finalize a plan. How does that sound? Master Mo's face lit up with a smile when he heard Ling Zixiao's words. To set up a family great formation from scratch would not only consume materials but also take a great deal of time. If one could just adapt the existing setup, the workload would be greatly decreased, potentially to just 10 or 20% of the original. Naturally, he was not inclined to start afresh and spend a vast amount of time at Bai Lake Mountain.
That is only natural.
Ling Zixiao spoke with a dignified elegance.
Then, they proceeded to inspect the ley lines and the situation of the Great Formation on Bai Lake Mountain.
During the process, Ling Zixiao presented her thoughts on the setup and arrangements for the Great Formation and some minor adjustments to the layout of Bai Lake Mountain to Master Mo. Typically, when Master Mo set up a Great Formation, it was his decision alone after examining the spirit vein layout. This time, due to the relationship between Lu Chongxing and Qing Yun's sect, he gave some consideration to their opinions. Yet, deep down, he was still somewhat arrogant, believing they should heed his suggestions.
Now listening to Ling Zixiao's arrangements, understanding, and views on Bai Lake Mountain's Great Formation, he suddenly realized that Ling Zixiao was extraordinary in the formation path. He put away the disdain and arrogance in his heart and discussed the setup and arrangement of the Great Formation with her as an equal. So it was that after inspecting the Great Formation at Bai Lake Mountain, Master Mo settled down temporarily at Biyun Villa with his 2 disciples, ready to finalize the plan and then start the refurbishment and setup of the Great Formation.
Chongxing, the matter of overseeing Bai Lake Mountain has been agreed upon by the master. After the Great Formation business was taken care of, Xiaofan finally found time to speak to Lu Chongxing alone and informed him about overseeing Bai Lake Mountain.
That's wonderful.
Lu Chongxing was immediately overjoyed to hear that Xiaofan could come to oversee things, thinking to himself that Kai Yun True Immortal was quite a reasonable person after all. He was previously worried whether Kai Yun True Immortal would thwart their relationship. Of course, Lu Qingshan said proudly, rubbing his sister's little head. Don't worry with my talent, just give me about 10 years to break through to Foundation Establishment and become a Foundation Establishment Great Cultivator, and then we can go home to visit Mother. Hee, by then, Mother, Grandfather, and Father will be shocked when they find out I've become a Foundation Establishment Great Cultivator. Lu Qingshan grinned, imagining the day when he would return home as a Foundation Establishment Great Cultivator. Previously, he thought that the Jinyang sect would be similar to the Qing Yun sect. If he missed home, he might still be able to visit. However, after arriving at the Jinyang sect, he learned that he and his sister had come to another country. The journey from here back home was very far, and they had to wait until he became a Foundation Establishment Cultivator to make the trip. This caused Lu Qingzhu to feel sad for a long time. However, since it's a product of the system, I suppose this endless guileful head must have some sort of master recognition effect, and wouldn't turn on its master, right? Lu Chongxing looked at the endless guileful head in the system space, pondering. Based on the system's description, he guessed that the endless guileful head was no trivial matter. Aside from possessing the combat power of nascent soul, its skills and divine skills likely also posed a significant threat to nascent soul immortals. But the more powerful an object, the more strength required to control and master it. Forget it, let's just keep this thing in the system space for now and take it out when it's needed. Although Lu Chongxing was curious about the combat power and divine skills of this endless guileful head. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.